Close-up shot. Now put goals in.
For details, conditions apply.
Visit your Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information. Professional golf is coming to Black.
Hasek was right on top of things. Good job by Ingram. Standing ground. Just stuff it up.
Where golf meets festival
Was there.
September 5th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour America's commemorative.
On your favorite sports, River Creek Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action. River Creek is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreekresort.com.
River Creek Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440. The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Close-up shot. Now put goals in.
What a terrific Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks as always for listening. Thanks for watching the show, YouTube, Facebook, X. Be sure to give a thumbs up. Say hello to Deck in the chat. And we got lots to discuss. It was a typical NHL playoff game in the sense that very few of them are smooth sailing. There's momentum changes. There's emotional highs and lows from the players and for the fans. And I think it's safe to say that the Oilers last night was, to me, just it was all duos and pairs. The Oilers had two great periods, first and the third. The Oilers got 2 goals from Dickinson. They got 2 goals from Kapanen. They got 2 assists from Draisaitl, 2 assists from Podkolzin, 2 assists from Wallman. They got 2 huge saves from Ingram in the third period. They had 2 tough giveaways. It was twosome. Troy Terry had a pair of goals. It was a lot of twos last night, but the Edmonton Oilers at the end come back with a win. And the way they played in the first and the third, I think they'll like it. Obviously, the second period, not so much. And I think Anaheim will be on the other side to say, okay, you know what? We were a little bit overwhelmed early. Then we came back in the second period. We liked our game, yada, yada, yada. And then in the third period, I don't think Anaheim really sat back. They did have 2 really good chances. Seneca had a great chance, and then the Oilers tied it moments later. And then when it was 3-3, Bill Karlsson came in on like a 2-on-1 from just inside the blue line. That's a big save by Ingram. he didn't have a ton of shots. And this is why I'm not going to say it's obsolete, but save percentage to me is becoming less and less important in evaluation of goalies. It can matter at times, but ultimately I don't think it matters in the game because, people are Connor Ingram, sub 900. Doesn't matter to me. Now, sub 900 is also maybe more of the average today, but I liked Ingram's game, especially in the third period. And you need your goalie to make a few key saves, and he did. And the Oilers, Connor McDavid, when two of your best three players, McDavid and Bouchard, have average to off nights and you win and you score 4 goals, that is massive for the Edmonton Oilers. Because I just look at the pedigree of Bouchard and McDavid in the playoffs, and I'm like, the odds of them being quiet repeatedly in the series, very low. Give the Ducks credit. They checked them. And how many of you, when you were watching the game, were like, who the hell is Washy? Who thought that Washy, the fourth line center of the Ducks, was going to play the most minutes against Connor McDavid head-to-head amongst forwards? Basically, you had your first, second, and third line, 640 for your first, second, and fourth line. Washy played the most at 640. Then you had Carlson, just over 5. Granlund, just over 4. Even Ryan Poland's line, he got 2 minutes in that game, the fewest of any forward. So it was really a team effort, except for the third pair. They did not want Linz and Gudas out there against McDavid. Gudas played the fewest minutes of anybody. It was actually 48 seconds. And Linz played 1 minute. That was it. It was basically your first and second pair rotating fairly even at about 8.5 minutes because McDavid played over 18, 5-on-5. And I'll give the Ducks credit. I thought he got frustrated, and it was an off night for McDavid. Like, look at that one power play. I think he had 4 turnovers on the power play. But even the best player in the world isn't going to dominate every game. But the good news for the Oilers is they won the game without any offensive contributions from McDavid or Bouchard. And that is massive. Massive. Jake Wallman, that might have been his best game of the season. I'm trying to think of a game where he played better. And he only played 15 minutes, but it was a really impactful 15 minutes for him. Right? Dickinson, great goal. Now, and this is what I love about the playoffs. And by the way, the Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where Lotto Max Tuesday. Tonight, get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. $40 million up for grabs tonight. Hey, Oilers had 4 goals last night, $40 million. Hey, maybe you think it'll be your luck charm. Good luck. But you look at Edmonton in this game, that I'm a firm believer. I don't put much stock into analytics in the playoffs. And here's why. Because every game is so different. Just because of what happened in game 1 and how a team played, how an individual played, or even in the game itself. I've always argued, like, analytics are very good. They can be useful. I use them all the time. But I'm not one of those people who is like, oh, the analytics say it. Like, these people pass around this Jay Fresh Guys cards like they think they're gospel. Like, it's funny to me. Like, oh, look at Josh Szymanski's card. I'm like, yeah, I looked at it. It says Josh Szymanski is in the 64th percentile of offense. And I'm not picking on Josh Szymanski. I'm just pointing out. Do you know that Josh Szymanski has not shot a puck into the net this year? Josh Szymanski's played 24 games. He is tied for the fewest shots on goal of any forward in the NHL who's played 24 games. Right? He doesn't shoot the puck. He doesn't create much offense. Now, Doc had 7 hits in 8 minutes without him. Frederick had another 3. They were out shooting the opposition 4-2. Like, no offense. People want to say, well, Szymanski's the guy who drives the line. It's not the case. Right? And so you could look at Henrique's numbers, but I think at times you miss things. All you have to do is look at the Ducks' 3rd goal last night to see where Adam Henrique was missed in the second period. It's a defensive faceoff on the right side of Ingram. So when you don't have a right shot centerman, guess what? Now you're on your perceived weak side. Well, their best faceoff guy by a mile on the right side is Adam Henrique. Well, look at that goal. lose the faceoff cleanly, Ducks get it within 5 seconds of the faceoff, it's a goal. Now, I'm not saying Henry guaranteed would have won the faceoff. Can't say it for sure. But he's your best faceoff guy on that side. And now the Ducks are not a very good faceoff team, so it might not matter very much overall, but it mattered on that play. And in the playoffs, like what if Gudas doesn't trip when Ekholm's coming down the left side? Does he still hammer that slap shot? Or does Gudas get in the lane? And what if he does get in the lane? Maybe the Oilers lose the game 3-2 off of a defensive zone faceoff. So please don't ever say faceoffs don't matter. Now, if you want to say neutral zone faceoffs don't matter much, I'm right with you. But that's why I like to track defensive zone faceoffs. And for the Oilers, who don't really have a regular righty, when Lazar's in, he's really good on his strong side. And then Henrique's their best out of the lefties, followed by Leon Draisaitl. But Leon Draisaitl doesn't kill penalties. And Jason Dickinson, for all the good things he does, not a great faceoff guy, especially on that side. So what are they going to do? Henrique, we know, is out for game 2. The coach didn't want to say any farther than that, but he caught himself last night after the game. So we'll see how long he's out. But as much as everybody's saying, it's got to be Szymanski, oh my God, he drives the fourth line. I'm like, no, it's not a knock on Josh. I like him, really good, surprising young player. But he doesn't drive that line. Doc and Frederic have both been skating very well, both been physical together. When Szymanski's out there, there's just not a lot of offense coming from him specifically, right? And that's okay. But like you look at his shots for, shots against down the stretch. You just look at his actual personal shots. Like at some point, you can't be that one-dimensional defensively. It's great on a team that can score goals so you can get away with it. And against the Ducks, if that line doesn't get scored on, that's a win. No question. But I could see why the coach might contemplate playing Lazar, because there are certain moments in the game that are just more important. Right? You get your 7 or 8 minutes and you're changing on the fly and all that stuff. And okay, right? Szymanski's quicker than Lazar. So that could be a concern. That might be why the coach plays him. But make no mistake, they will miss Henrique on defensive zone penalty kill faceoffs, especially on the right side. And they don't have any, unless they're going to put Draisaitl in. Nugent Hopkins can't do it, right? He's not very good there. Dickinson's not very good there. So it will be an area that they miss. And we know that Henrique's not in the lineup. I'm going to guess it's Szymanski. And you know what? Maybe Szymanski's like a lot of these other guys, that the playoffs come and boom, he elevates his game even more. Awesome. He's been playing fine for rookie. I never get on rookies. But I think there's some that are overrating what his impact is on the line. He's not the guy driving that line. He's not the one making Doc and Frederic physical, hitting everything that moves. It's not him, right? And if there's one other area of Szymanski's game that, as a young guy, will need to improve, is his ability in the battle. It's one of the hardest things to get better at in the NHL. Positioning, more so strength than anything else. So we'll see what they do. But the Oilers, that's a huge win for them, considering McDavid didn't get a point. So I was looking in his career. McDavid has had 18 games where he hasn't registered a point. Or sorry, 23, but 18 in the last 5 years. Like he had 5 his second year in the league, and the Oilers were actually 3-2 that year in the playoffs when McDavid didn't score. But Leon Draisaitl was going nuclear. And that included the game. Remember game 6 against the Ducks when they beat him 7-1? McDavid didn't have a point in a 7-1 game, funny enough. So he also didn't have a point against the Vancouver Canucks when the Oilers won game 7. Last year against Vegas, it was a 1-0 game. Kapanen scored in overtime. So you don't need him to score every game, of course. It helps that he does, because he has more 3-point games, 3+ point games, than he does 0-point games in his playoff career. It's pretty impressive. And if you're the Ducks, I think you look at last night as a kind of a blown opportunity, because you're not going to be able to contain McDavid night in and night out like they did last night. You just can't. No one's been able to do it for a decade. And I always laugh when someone does it one game. Oh, they figured it out. What are you talking about? It's one game. You don't think McDavid's going to ramp it up the next game? 100% he will. And I think Matt Savoy, early in the game, looked like he'd get the puck and he was like, I got to get it to Connor. I got to get it to Connor. And then in the third period, He started forechecking and moving his feet more, and it was much better. And that's what happens for a lot of guys. Playoffs are damn hard, especially your first time through it, man. It is a big jump. The building's way louder. Like Jason Dickinson talked about it, so did Connor Ingram. I like coming down the walkway that first time, Ingram's just like, holy cow. And I was watching, I didn't get a chance to talk to Connor Murphy, but I thought that Connor Ingram said, well, he goes, I'm standing on the for the national anthem, and I had to reset myself. I had to center myself here because it's hard. You're in the building. Heck, you're watching at home, and you know how loud it is. You're on the ice. It just like the sound resonates even. I've been on the ice before there, and it is loud. Like it's totally different. And I could see how a player, you got your energy. I saw Connor Murphy, like he was standing there and he was taking like the biggest deep breaths, just trying to calm himself. Because how could you not get amped up? That would be an unbelievable feeling. Because the crowd is cheering before they even step on the ice. Like they got their 5-minute intro going. And so you're in the room and yeah, you're underneath. You don't think you can hear it? Like it just starts shaking a little bit. And it's fantastic atmosphere. I thought the pace of the game was pretty good overall. And I say, man, there's some Ducks players that are impressive. I still believe that Edmonton's going to win this series just because they got a little bit more experience. I think they got a better blue line, top to bottom. But Leo Carlsson, are you kidding me? What a player. Big, strong, can skate. And this guy's 21. Remember Leon Draisaitl at 21? Now look at him. Like, I'll be curious what Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlsson, Seneca, what those guys look like in a few years. I know it's hard to think now, but you look, I know when Connor scored 100 points, you're like, oh, geez, 100 points. Then you look at him, he's scoring 150, 138. He was on pace for 150 another time. And just dominating. You get stronger. You just naturally do, right? You figure out the game. It slows down certain areas. The Ducks, their future's pretty good. That Jackson Lacombe, Connor Halley, is that the first time you've really seen Zach Hyman get hit hard? Right?
Yeah,
like, honestly.
I've never seen him go down like that in that fashion. No,
like,
never.
That was a hard reverse hits, man. They're no joke when you can be ready and, you come in as the hitter, and if you're not braced for it, boom, that's what happens. But, man, that Jackson Lacombe, good young player. Minchikov, solid. He's got some rounding out in his game. But, this Ducks team, they're going to be an exciting team to watch. I don't think their time is now. I watch the orders and a lot of the little intricacies of the game they're just better at. But I think that Ducks team, they're going to be entertaining to watch, number one. Like, they can skate. Some of those big guys can really, really move. So I like it. And for Edmonton, I thought because you're never going to control the whole game. That's really hard to do. But they had long stretches where they controlled the game. Where they got into trouble was kind of a typical Oiler trouble is when, they have some giveaways, right? Mishandling the puck. And the Oilers, I thought they missed a lot of passes early on. And I think at times they're forced into McDavid, but I do give Anaheim credit. Watch how Anaheim, they really funneled guys over. So one thing about McDavid, they're really smart. He will figure it out, and you watch. He will attack different, whether it's how when he's circling low, when he's going to take the puck, when he's not. Are they going to suddenly use him as a decoy and start breaking out the other side because they're going to overload to one side too much? Trust me, they will always do it. So that's not a problem. I wouldn't be concerned. If anything, Oiler fans, you should be tickled pink. Not only did you win the game, you scored 4 goals, and McDavid wasn't on the never mind points. Wasn't even on the ice for them. That's a huge step forward for the Edmonton Oilers. Coming up on the show today, we got lots to discuss. Of course, NHL playoffs. We'll get to more of the other games. What's going on tonight in the National Hockey League? Last night, Ottawa, Carolina, longest game of this year's playoffs, and kind of a crazy situation with Martinook, and it looked like they scored. They called for offside, but then he gets a penalty shot. I'd never seen that before. It was wild. I still don't understand it, to be honest. I don't love it. Dallas gets back in their series with a 4-2 win over the Wild. The Flyers, they look pretty good. 3-0 over Pittsburgh. Solid game. They're just playing better right now. So they're up 2-0, both wins on the road. And then you got games tonight. Tampa hosting Montreal. The Sabres, can they win 2 in a row? The Golden Knights and Mammoth, that game was vicious. And sign me up to watch it again. That was a vicious game. LA, Colorado, like, I'm sorry. The way the Kings play, God, it's boring. It's hard. It's hard to watch. Like, I know the Oilers are super exciting, as are Colorado, but even you as an Oilers fan will know some of those games were like, not a lot going on for a while. So I can tell you, it's the late game, so I'll probably watch part of it, Cons, but it's hard to get me into the LA Kings right now. It just is.
I mean, if you're looking for alternatives, you got an early season game with the Blue Jays. But
yeah, that's true. Hey, they scored 5 runs 2 games in a row.
Right.
Break out the champagne.
Here they are. I'm with you, though. I kind of echo that. I tried to watch the Avs and Kings that game 1. It just wasn't very exciting.
No.
For playoff hockey, it's like
not much.
Especially with the Avs, a team that I think we're used to being a little more up tempo, just kind of slowed down. So wasn't great.
Yeah. We got a loaded show for you, so we'll get to it. Brad May's joining us next. One of the greatest calls ever. We'll get to that. Nick Baumgartner. We'll talk a little NFL draft. McCarthy, TR, Struddy, Spec, DVD. And how about Olympian Alex Stieda, cyclist, will join us. Got something cool to do in town. So we'll get to all that in a busy Gregor Show. And your text, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April.
Putting it up to LaFontaine. He gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line. Here's May going in on goal. He shoots. He scores! Up to LaFontaine. He gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line. Here's May going in on goal. He shoots. He scores!
Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
And you can play the video on the line.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The playoffs are on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocks.yeg.com.
Putting it up to LaFontaine. He gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line. He's May going in on goal. He shoots. He Mayday! 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 Brad May wins it in overtime.
Calls in NHL history and Buffalo Sabres history. It is one of the best for sure. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of Silent Ice Center, just minutes outside South Edmonton. It's your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. That's Silent Ice Center and Summit Restaurant. And the gentleman who scored that goal, I'm going to guess maybe the biggest goal of his career. Brad May joins us. Brad, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Now, how many times, Brad, did you watch that goal on replay?
Well, you know what? I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I've seen it far too many times, I'm sure. But every time I do see it, even to this day, and of course, every time, every year going into the playoffs, it's always played, and I'm incredibly proud of it. That's for sure. But
you should be, man. And Rick, oh, what a beauty call! Like not only the goal is awesome, it's the goal call that makes it even better. And your celebration down the ice, like it's an epic, memorable goal in the history of the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, you know what? It really is. And I don't want to be a pompous ass.
No, you're not.
But it was, a moment in time. I can tell you, it was April 24th, 1993, and I don't know what time of night it was at, but it was in overtime. And my goodness, my life. I would say it changed for the better, very much so. I have a nickname for life, but something that I can always, think back on and remember. But it's how I'm identified, quite honestly, by a lot of hockey fans and even casual fans. It's been a really wonderful experience.
Oh, no doubt. And I'm for a long time, Sabre, you know what? I know, guys, you have an organization that you really feel part of, and then to see it struggle, even though you're not part of it, it's challenging. And it was 14 years and the Sabres didn't make it. And now they finally get into the playoffs. And then, they have the miracle comeback in the last 8 minutes. They score 4 goals. They come back and win. The building's going absolutely bananas. How fun was it for you? Like, did you watch that and be like, okay, Buffalo's back finally?
Yeah, so I got a couple things here to unpack. When you get traded from a team, and especially the team that trades you first, of course, the longer you play, I ended up playing for 8 different teams, but the first trade it hurts you. So for a long while, when I was a player, I didn't root for Buffalo. Although it's amazing. Buffalo treated me wonderfully for 8 years, and I got my start there. But there was a lot of things about it. Lindy Ruff was my coach when I got traded. I don't like Lindy Ruff. And now that's my insecurities going forward, and I'm way past it. But for a long time, I wasn't a Buffalo Sabre fan because I was jaded. But when you really think about it, it's been so long. The fans of Buffalo, they've been there. They've hung around. They support their team. They're amazing people. It's a great place to live. I'm really excited for the fans first and foremost. But the players that are playing, 5 months ago, they were the worst team in the NHL.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. They fire their general manager around Christmas time, and all of a sudden this team wins and they can't lose. And now they're one of the better teams in the NHL. It's amazing. The talent didn't change. The physical attributes didn't change. But what did? A belief. And it just goes to show you that any team can resurrect itself if you get the right chemistry and the right people, pulling on the rope in the right direction. And for Buffalo, I'm incredibly happy for them. I can't wait. I've been invited to be down there.
Awesome.
I'm actually out in Edmonton this weekend, but I think for Game 5 when I get home next Tuesday, I'll be in the building and maybe I'll be the guy that's pounding the drum. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, dude. And when they come back, I can guarantee you, they're going to play that goal again, and Sabre fans are going to go crazy, and you're going to have a big smile on your face because I couldn't imagine, some people have good things that happen in your life and you watch it over and over again, but something like that, it made a lot of other people happy, right? Like that's why they love the game is when, somebody scores a big goal, they always remember it. Especially when, it's not Patty LaFontaine, right? Like it's not a superstar player. It's a character guy that they like and hard-nosed player. And when those type of guys score, it just seems to resonate with fans more.
Oh, no, for sure. And the thing is because it's not expected, necessarily. Yeah. And, there's unlikely heroes. And that's the best part about the Stanley Cup playoffs is it takes a team to win. Look at Edmonton last night. They were able to win, but their best players, obviously Leon and Connor didn't I shouldn't say contribute, but didn't factor into the scoring. You need other unlikely sources to step up. And that's the greatest thing about the game is it takes the full team to win. And the crazy part, it's over 2 straight months. John Muckler, who used to obviously coach the Oilers, was one of my first coaches with the Buffalo Sabres. And his point was it's the best team isn't necessarily the team that ends up winning. It's a team playing best at that time. But the point, you have to do it for 2 straight months. And you have to win series differently, 4 different ways. Physical, you have to outman on the special teams in possibly a series. Then probably another series you're going to have to play defensive. And you need goaltending, and you need it all. And that's why it's so difficult. You guys have been treated to a great team the last couple of years, 2 great runs. And I hope, for Edmonton's sake, I hope you guys have another one. Connor McDavid deserves a Stanley Cup, but you got to go out and earn it and got to win it. And I say I don't want to reduce it to one player, but I know I'm a fan too. And literally, he moves the needle for me. I stay up at night. I wake up in the morning waiting for his highlights.
Brad May joins us. You mentioned you will be in Edmonton this weekend for the annual Alzheimer's Pro-Am. And I know, Brad, you've played in it for a long time, and you're a fan favorite because, you sit back, you got a lot of good stories from different times. I do want to ask about, there's always rumors and myths sometimes make things bigger than they are, right? That's what's great about your goal. It's video. No one can pretend that it was different than what it was. We all see it. But one of the rumors that went around for a long time back in those Buffalo Sabre days was that, you and Barnaby and a few others, Bugner, would put boxing gloves on and go at it in the dressing room. True or false?
Well, it is true. There were sets of boxing gloves, so
okay.
That's true. I never once did that with my teammates.
Okay.
I fought them in practice, and only because we're a bunch of jackasses and we're always trying to compete against one another. I fought Rob Ray in training camp. I fought Matthew. Bobby Bugner was a tough guy, and he came in. But you know what we did do? I know Rob and Matthew fought in the locker room a few times.
Okay.
We love fighting. And it's I got to be honest, it's the only thing I miss about not playing. I can still play hockey. I'm going to do it this weekend, albeit I'm not as big, I'm much bigger. I'm not as fast. I'm not as fast. I'm not as strong, and certainly not as good. But I can never fight again. And I mean it. When you're actually playing hockey, I know maybe I'm different, but with my team in Buffalo, the guys that I was able to be surrounded with, guys that protected me and stood up for me, and vice versa, I miss that. I miss the energy that comes with it. I had a brother. My brother passed away a couple years ago. We'd fight for each other. It's the same love, and it's the same spirit as you would with brotherly love. I miss that. However, the game of hockey is an unbelievable place. The talent, the skill, the speed, so much better than what we had, what we were. The characters are maybe aren't in the game as much because back then you were able to display yourself differently. But at the end of the day, hockey's in a great place.
Your first impression of Dominic Hasek when he joined the Sabres?
First impression would be just on the top of my mind, what a weird guy.
Okay.
That's my first thought. Now, in saying that, here's a guy who grew up in a communist country, Czechoslovakia, and clearly he has different, superstitions, just different methods how we do things. As a goaltender, absolutely incredible. No understanding how he stops the puck. I was like everyone else. This guy has no style. He's so lucky. What's he do? Like, how can he stop the puck? He has no system. There is never a time, or very few times, when Dominic was on the ice that he wasn't square to the puck. And when he wasn't, by making a big save, he was able to get himself back square to the puck in a really, ambidextrous type of way. He's the best goaltender that's ever played. We had practices. We never scored on him. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of shots. When he wasn't sharp, he'd take his helmet off and wanted to take one-timers at him. By the way, but 100%. And when he'd do that, and he did it often, he did it so he could snap himself back into reality where he had to be, focused. Now, my only question is, if I don't know where the puck is going, how in the world does he know? You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, what a talent, what a goaltender. Definitely a weird guy, but it's a clash of customs, right? Communist country where he came from to the United States of America that, freedom's everywhere and a lot of choices.
So you're telling me in practice, if he felt his game wasn't on, he would take his mask off and say, I want you guys to shoot one-timers at me, because what? He felt like it would scare him into stopping the puck?
I don't understand it either. That's why I think he's weird. He used to do that. And I'm not kidding. Now, granted, back in the 60s, right, goaltenders didn't wear helmets.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's crazy. Like, we do evolve. But yeah, he would take his helmet off at the end of practice on shooting drills. And I'm telling you, where it was like rapid shooting. Like, I'm taking one-timers from the left side. The right-hand shot's taking it from his side, and it's passes from the corner. One-timers, fluttering pucks that we don't know where they're going. We can't control, but we know we can get good wood on. And Dominic was there, and every single time that he did that, he'd snap into and he wouldn't let a puck past him. Like, I'm telling you, we had practices where we never scored a goal on Dominic Hasek, and that's absurd.
Yeah, it is. Now, when he was in that zone, was there like fun competition? Was he chirping at you guys? Hey, Mayday, feel free to mix in a goal. Like, or was he just a quiet guy, didn't say much?
No. He had a great personality too. At different times, he was fun with his teammates, but he did take his craft incredibly serious. And I like to think that we all do, but when you're a superstar and everybody, all eyeballs are on you, I think you have to behave and act differently. We had Patty LaFontaine at the time, Dominic Hasek. We had Dale Howardchuk. I mean, we have some great players. Those guys get the attention. The rest of us, we do what we do. But the best players, they really made it fun for us. Certainly, on every team I played on, the best players I played with, in Vancouver, I played with Mess. Mark Messier, clearly he's held to a different standard. But he, at one time or another, whatever, he included everyone, and he had that ability to bring everybody together. And I would say that the best players, they're the best players for many reasons, and one of them is because they're great people.
Brad, you played in the NHL. You debuted in 1991, 1992, fresh out of Niagara Falls. You've been a first-round draft pick in 1990. Went back for 1 year, junior, and then boom, you're right to the NHL. Right, young guy. You're 20 years of age. What is your earliest kind of welcome to the NHL moment that you remember from that 91-92 season?
Well, it's very simple. I scored in my first game, my first shot, my first breakaway I ever had in the National Hockey League, with Mario Lemieux chasing me. and no kidding, and he couldn't catch the kid. That's true. I have a picture. I have a picture that actually identifies it. But yeah, I scored on my first shot, first game, and it was my home opener, my first opportunity to be an NHL player. I'll never forget that. It was amazing. It was at the Buffalo Auditorium, which they'd knocked down, and it was so loud. And I can't imagine how loud the KeyBank Center is right now with the fandom that's going on in Buffalo. And they got off to a good start, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. They can't get ahead of themselves. But the fan base, my goodness, you just think of the Buffalo Bills Mafia. They cheer for hockey just as hard and just as crazy. And I can't wait to see it. I really do hope that they have a long run.
I'm looking at your rookie season. You mentioned you scored a goal in your first game. You also had 309 penalty minutes that year. And that's why I say I miss fighting. Like I'm looking at it, and so I'm guessing you had at least 25 tilts that year.
I have to believe that. Yeah, I don't know the number, but
at least because you have 23 games where you had like 5 minutes, and then you had lots with 7, so that's 2 and a 5. Then you have some 8s and 15s, and so a fight and a 10. Like honestly, I'd have to go back and look at hockey fights to see it, but I'm guessing you had at least 25 fights that year, and you were 20 years old, Brad. Like it's, I know it's, you're a man at 20, but I think we'd all agree that 20-year-old Brad May probably wasn't as strong as 25-year-old Brad May.
No, but he was crazier, and he didn't know what to be afraid of. He had a 20-year-old kid, 19 actually, coming into the NHL, turning 20 in November, had no fear.
Yeah.
And honestly, no fear. You're looking at Porter Mortone right now.
Yeah.
With the Philadelphia Flyers. Like this guy, unbridled enthusiasm. He's scoring goals. He's playing free because he's able to. And then the game catches up to you, and the seriousness of the job and everything else, which is actually sad, right, to think of. And then the coaching gets in there where you have to be really diligent and responsible. As a young guy, you're just out there playing, and you're loving it, and you're chasing your dream. I got to do that. My second welcome to the NHL would be a few weeks into my career, and I got in a fight in Montreal against Shane Corson, who you guys know awfully well.
Oh yeah.
And Corse is he's really tough. And it was a 3-on-3 situation late in the game on a Saturday night. We were down, I want to say 7-2. So we lost the game, and everybody in the building knew that there was going to be a brawl, except for me, because I knew there was going to be a brawl, but you don't just fight before the puck's dropped, right? There has to be some integrity to the game. So I actually, because I was the youngest, they made me be centerman. Take the center ice position. There's Gord Donnelly and Brad Miller, who's an Edmontonian.
Yeah, I just saw Brad actually this past weekend.
Millsy's the best. So Millsy fought, I want to say it was Todd Ewan. Gord Donnelly fought Todd. Millsy fought Mario Roberge. And then I have to take the face off. Well, Shane Corson, all he knows is he's fighting. But I had to have integrity, and I had to win the face off before the fight started. So as I try to win the face off back, I get drilled right in the face. Yeah, you gotta learn your lessons, man. Sometimes when you're young, you're green and you just don't get it.
Oh, Brad May joins. So these are the type of stories. May Day, of course, the draft goes on Friday night. Now you mentioned you're not as quick as you used to be. Obviously, you have some good stories. Now, if you get a chance in this slot, can you still bury it?
Oh, 100%. And I'm quicker than the other players. I'm not, just because I'm not as quick as I once was, doesn't mean I'm not quick.
Okay, I like that. Who, now you played a few of these. Who is your favorite alumni to go up against and chirp in games?
Great question. You know what? That's a hard one because there's so many great guys, and there's so many different, like the history of the players and who you're with. Matthew Barnaby would be one. He was a teammate. Of course, I played against him too. Love Matthew. He's a good dude. He's one of my best friends. But I'm thinking guys that let me say it a different way. Guys I love seeing that I never played with.
Okay.
Al Iafrate is a guy that is one of my favorite people I've ever met. Love Al. Never knew Al as a player. Played against him. Kelly Buchberger is a guy that I played with in Phoenix. And of course, you guys know Kelly awfully well. I love seeing him. Darcy Hordachuk was a teammate down there as well in Phoenix. I'm thinking the relationships, Craig Muni, Charlie Huddy, guys that played in Edmonton, because I'm on an Edmonton show here. When I see these guys, it's wonderful because it takes you back to wherever we were, whether it was a road trip in Dallas or a boat ride in Tampa, or a rookie dinner in San Francisco. There's so many wonderful stories and moments that I was able to have with these guys that I really appreciate listening to their stories, but also sharing those experiences with one another.
Well, you'll have a lot of experiences to share with the guys who draft you as well. You had played 15 years. You'd started in Buffalo, then you went to Vancouver, then to Phoenix, then back to Vancouver, then to Colorado, and then you got traded at the deadline. And you get traded to Anaheim, and you end up winning a cup in your 15th season in the National Hockey League. Brad, I had Pronger on about his book here a week ago. Scott Niedermayer, you had some great players on that team. You had a tough team. But here you are, a 15-year-old veteran. You've grinded it out. You're battling and say, man, I've accomplished a lot, probably maybe more than you ever thought. Not many guys last 15 years in the NHL, and you ended up playing 19. But how special was that to win a cup that late in your career?
Well, I can say it this way. I'm so fortunate, lucky, fortunate, perseverance, obviously, is a big part of this, but I never had a chance before or after to win a Stanley Cup. I had one chance. I played 19 years. I was on good teams. I played with 25 or more Hall of Fame players that are actually in the Hall of Fame today. And, you can talk about all of those things. And I think I only got past the second round of the playoffs once. And that was the year that we won the Stanley Cup. And when I say that, it's awfully difficult. Great teams get knocked off.
Yeah.
Not to say that, but you think you have good teams, but really, were you that good? Or did you just kind of tell yourself that and believe it? There's so many other factors that go into it. I got traded at the deadline. It was my second time being traded at the trade deadline, in quest of the Stanley Cup. Brian Burke was the general manager. He brought me back to Vancouver the first time I was traded. The second time, obviously, to Anaheim. The only thing I can promise, and I say that is, nobody can ever argue against me, is I didn't screw up the mission. I was the only guy. I was the only guy that Anaheim traded for that day. They were awfully confident in their group, their team. I had nothing to do with their team up until that point. But I didn't screw up the mission, so therefore I definitely made a difference. I definitely brought energy and some experience and passion to the group. But when I look and think about that team, obviously Chris Pronger being one of our leaders, Hall of Famers, Scotty Niedermayer, Teemu Selanne, Getzlaf and Perry and Kunitz and Penner, these guys all emerging stars, and some of them were already stars. And then you had a bunch of guys that were just as hungry as you possibly can be. George Peros, Sean Thornton, myself, Travis Moen, Rob Niedermayer, Sammy Paulson. Like I know these guys. I can actually see their faces when I say their name. It'll be like that to the day I die, because when you win a Stanley Cup together, you only did it together, and it's forever. I admire, and I'm so excited about these guys chasing their dreams today to go win one, because I know what that feeling's like and I miss it. However, I'm so grateful that I had that one chance.
It was awesome. And Brad, you guys must be planning a 20-year anniversary next year. A lot of teams do that, so might have to do that.
I love being invited to parties. I hope I get the invitation, and I can say one thing: I'll be the first one there, and I'll be the last one standing.
Awesome. Well, Brad, I know anybody who wants to draft, you want a good storyteller, guy who still got some wheels and have a lot of fun. Do it at the Pro-Am this Friday. We'll see you at the luncheon.
I can't wait. And just for everybody that obviously listens to your show, your team's awesome. Stay with them. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes, and they're going to be in some battles. But I, who live in Toronto and work for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I do some stuff. I'm a Buffalo Sabre when I started. I'm a fan of Edmonton, and I want nothing more for Edmonton to win a Stanley Cup. So good luck to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. We appreciate it, man. We'll see you Friday.
Thank you. See ya.
There you go. That's Brad May. I'm telling you, for those of you who are playing in the weekend, you got a high pick. Brad May, 19-year career. And what did he say? 25 Hall of Famers. Like, he will have endless stories. Won a Stanley Cup. And trust me, if you like the guy that has a little bit of fun with your team, that's a guy you're going to want to draft. Take a quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal.
My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhauk beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhauk, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is back. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands including Continental, Michelin, Motomaster, and Pirelli until May 21st. Conditions apply. Details online.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. Ewell.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$250. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always brought to you by playalberta.ca, where, of course, you can get in the game. Use the Jason Gregor Show odds boosts. Of course, we got NHL playoff action for you tonight. Get in on that. And while you're there, Lotto Max, $40 million. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. Well, coming up in 2 days, it's the NFL draft. Man, there's lots going on this time of year. It's fantastic because we get to our NFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. The rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Nick Baumgartner joined us from The Athletic. The NFL draft is just over 48 hours away. And Nick, what's your expectation as far as, because it was funny, I saw a video today that was replaying the Patrick Mahomes, and Kansas had traded up to number 10 to take him, and obviously it worked out very well. Is there a team that you are confident is going to trade up in the draft?
No, I don't know about one team that I'm confident is going to trade up. I think there's several that have a chance to do it. Cleveland has a chance to do it. They could trade down as well. Obviously Dallas, now the Jets, obviously, and then you've had the Giants with the recent move also there. I mean, it's possible that any of those teams do it. I just don't know. It's hard to tell for which player, though, right? Because there's only one quarterback, and he's probably going number one. The quarterbacks usually drive that traffic trade-wise in the top 10. But, if somebody wants to take like Jeremiah Love and jump a line, or Sonny Styles, a linebacker from Ohio State, I could see something like that happening. But we'll see. It wouldn't shock me.
Where do you come out? Like it's hard to analyze quarterbacks. I think you look at where they've come. I think a lot of organizations end up rushing some of these guys, and they never have the success they want. So you look, the Raiders have been a tire fire for a long time.
Yeah.
Now Fernando Mendoza seems like a really nice kid, and he's more mature, and I get all that. But like, what's a realistic expectation for him in the first few years with the Raiders?
I mean, the realistic expectation for that should be just to survive the first year. I mean, exactly what we saw last year from Cam Ward. So get through the year without your confidence being just completely destroyed. So get through the year and end the season playing better than you were individually than you were at the start of the season, and don't worry about anything else. And then try to build off it from there on out. I mean, the Raiders do have a fair amount of picks here this year. They're probably going to have good picks next year too. I think the whole thing here needs to be, I think this is why I'd like Mendoza in this spot, because I think mentally he's built for this. Like you've got to have a long-range vision on this with the young guys that you bring in, and they have to develop their own culture together and go from there. And I think that, when you have a guy like that who's so positive, it's like overwhelming at times, right? Like it's like in your face positivity. And I think that when you talk to people that were around him, both at Cal or at Indiana, it's like an infectious thing. He wears on people to a point where they love him, in a good way. And I think that he genuinely shows, care for others. So I think it's going to be a really good pick for the Raiders. I don't know, what we can expect in a year or maybe even two to make sweeping judgments on, are they, is he doing what he was supposed to do? Because they've got a long way to go before they're a competitive team.
Yeah. Well, I just wonder if they're smart. And, when you look at the success of Green Bay going from QB to QB to QB over decades, because they don't rush them in. And, at the Raiders, you get Kirk Cousins, let Kirk Cousins play and let Mendoza learn from him. To me, that would be the smart move.
You definitely could. And I would not, and I think in this situation, I don't think it would be a big deal. I don't think that Mendoza would get antsy or itchy to be like, I got to get in there. If it's a situation where Cousins plays better than him in the preseason, then I absolutely think they should start Kirk Cousins. And I don't think they should have a situation where they're saying, hey, we're giving up on Fernando. It's like, hey, part of the reason why you bring a guy like Cousins in is to mentor him, is to teach him. And hopefully, if it's me, I'm thinking if Cousins is better than him in like September, I'm not going to be afraid to say that we like the drive in practice, and we're going to give him a shot in November, and he's going to take it the rest of the way, and we're going to see what happens. Like that to me almost ends up being the perfect scenario for a rookie quarterback. If he can maybe start the first quarter on the bench, and if you think he's ready, then you let it rip midseason and let it go. But like if you have a situation where you don't have to put him in immediately, then don't do it unless he's just like super special, which is very rare, as we know. So it's tough.
Looking at the number 2 pick, it's the New York Jets. And with the Sabres making the playoffs, the Jets are now in their own category of ineptitude, as it's 15 years now of no playoffs. And they don't really even look close. Not to be rude, but they don't. Yeah. So this is the one where, hey, it's exciting to get drafted. Don't get me wrong. But I could see how somebody would be like, geez, I almost don't want to go to the Jets. Can I go anywhere else? But is it David Bailey? Is it Arvell Reese? Is it Sonny Styles? Who do you think the Jets are looking at?
I mean, I think it's Arvell Reese. I wouldn't be surprised if it's David Bailey. I mean, if I'm the Jets, I would prefer Arvell Reese. I think there's still some mystery there, which one they prefer, overall. I think Reese he's a more versatile player. I think he's got a little bit of a higher ceiling overall. He's more like a Micah Parsons, whereas David Bailey is just a straight up, pass rusher, very good pass rusher. Don't get me wrong. Probably the best pure pass rusher in the draft. I just think Reese, everything else you get from him against the run, he can move around. You don't ever have to take him off the field. He's great on first down just as much as he is on third down. And he's one of the youngest players in the draft. I think long-term, he's the guy for them because I think the Jets right now, you mentioned it, they're not close to a playoff spot. They traded everything they had last year for these next 2 drafts. And what they have to do right now is just take the absolute best player that comes up on the board every single time that they pick for all of this draft and all of next draft, and then somewhere along the way get a quarterback in there maybe next year. And I think that's the best case scenario because their roster is pretty bone dry. There's not a whole lot there. It's the most misaligned, mismatched one that I can think of in the NFL, and that's why they're in the situation that they're in.
Nick Baumgartner joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show of The Athletic, taking a look at the NFL draft. Nick, it seems like every single year there's a player who has great production at the collegiate level, tests well, and then we get the measurements, and the arm length is just a little too short. You see it on both sides of the football. Ruben Bain Jr. would be the biggest victim of that this year, and some off-field things. How far do you think Bain Jr. falls because of this?
I'm not sure. With the off-field stuff, I think that most teams, most were aware of that, and I think that they held it sort of close to the vest, didn't talk about it much, but I think that's already what, if it was going to impact their evaluation, I believe it already has. And I do think the arm length will play a factor. And the hard part about Bain is it's going to be like half the teams or less. I don't know. I mean, that's the number that we're kind of guessing on, but I don't think it's a consensus. I think about half the teams are going to say he's a 3-tech on our board. He's not an edge. There were some teams mid-season that had him as a second-round pick, believe it or not, as dominant as he was off the edge, because they just don't think he'll ever be able to handle it with those. He's got barely 30-inch arms. It's like historically low for an edge defender. It's kind of weird how it works out that way. But then the other half of the league says, turn the tape on, and you watch how fast and violent he is off the ball. The length doesn't matter. He's into guys' chest, before they're even set on their second step. So I think it's really going to be split through the league, and it's just going to depend on what those teams in the top 10 want to do. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he falls out of the top 10 and we see some receivers go up in there. But I think that's been the question all year, is like, where is he going to end up? Because half the league, I think, really likes him, and the other half just doesn't have anything to do with it. They're like, we're good. We're not that high on him. If we can get him later, that's fine. If not, we're good.
Just looking at the receivers, I think Carnell Tate kind of consensus number one, but there's a lot of guys who it seems like they could get into the first round. Maybe you get a run on receivers. How many do you think go first round, and what do you think the order will be?
I think you could have like 6, maybe up to that, maybe one more in there. But I think for me, I will throw this in there. I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan Tyson slips in front of Carnell Tate, and I wouldn't be shocked if both those guys are top 10 picks. Quite honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if both those guys end up in the top 10. Tate is the safest one, the youngest guy. I think he's a really good player. I didn't care about the 40 time. I think he's really good in the air, got a lot better this past year. But Tyson, if he is healthy, if Jordan Tyson's healthy, he's the best receiver in the draft. But the problem is he's never really been healthy year to year throughout his career, right? So that's a tricky one. Then I would probably go Mekhi Lemon, then probably some combination of Denzel Boston from Washington, Casey Concepcion from A&M, Omar Cooper also there from Indiana.
Are there any tight ends you really like?
Oh yeah, Oregon's Kenyon Sadiq is a freaky guy. I mean, he's about 245 pounds. I think he was around 250 at his pro day. He ran a 4.39 at the combine with a 43-inch vertical, which is just off the charts. I think the 40, I think, is the fastest that's ever been run by a tight end at the combine, at least since like the early 2000s when they started tracking all this stuff. So he is just a mutant, an absolute terrific blocker at the line of scrimmage and out in space. He can line up at any receiver position. And this class in general, this tight end class, is very, very deep. And I think that there will be guys that will be competing for starting jobs that get drafted on day 3, and there will be guys that are probably UDFAs, that end up on rosters, because this is really, really deep tight end class. I think you're going to see a lot of teams dip into it this year.
Well, I got to think the Carolina Panthers have to.
Yeah,
They should be at the top of the list, I would think, for
100%
for a tight end team.
I mean, they would love just to get a kid like Sadiq. I don't think he's going to fall that far. That's another one where I had Kenyon Sadiq as a top 10 player in the draft on my overall board. I mean, I think he is just a phenomenal athlete. Right there with Sonny Styles as a guy who, athletically could maybe redefine some of what we think of a prototype guy at the tight end position is. He can play X, Z, slot. I mean, there's no limit to what Kenyon Sadiq could, in theory, right, do in the NFL. Plus, he's also, again, one of the youngest players in the draft.
Well, I wouldn't be about, you look at certain teams and, if you're talking top 10 player, then I would, like the Commanders, they don't really have a tight end.
Yeah.
So,
no. And I think that it's important to look at a guy like Sadiq as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
And not just, I've said this, I was on a Jets show not that long ago, and I was talking to them, and they were asking me about receivers at number 16, and I was like, hey, What about Kenyon Sadiq? I mean, he can play receiver and tight end. I mean, he's a pass catcher. He can do a little bit of both. So don't rule him out either. If you're a team that, is interested in a receiver, I would also look at him as well.
Awesome. Well, Nick, we really appreciate it, man. For fun, is there, do you see any big names like veteran guys getting moved at the draft, part of deals or anything?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question. Dexter Lawrence was the one I was actually looking at, and he just went. I do still wonder about old Max Crosby. That's still, I still wonder about that. I know they've said they made up, but that is one that's still sort of hanging out there for me. I wonder about him.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the draft. I really enjoy your coverage.
All right, fellas. Take care.
There you go. That's Nick Baumgartner from The Athletic. He does a great job on his draft coverage. And I know lots of you NFL fans, lots of your fantasy football fans, and you'll probably be paying attention to the draft. So one name, though, to keep in mind, Sadiq. Now, it depends on which offense you get drafted into, Connor. That's the other thing. That's, you can get good guys, but, sometimes you get a good matchup with a quarterback or an offensive coordinator and what he likes to run. And, especially if you're a young guy and you come in and you have some key offensive guys where you're probably not going to face as many double teams or anything. All of a sudden, that can open up a lot of space for you.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where for him, make the tight end position. We've seen it. There has been guys, Kyle Pitts, go early on in the draft, but the further he falls down, ideally, you're thinking that it's going to be a team that's, not struggling quite as much and has those offensive weapons. You put Aaron with Tataroa with the Carolina Panthers, I think that'd be a good fit. I like to look at this guy, Bruce Feldman. He does the freaks list. It's not necessarily the best players. It's the freakiest athletes, and Kenyon Sadiq was there at the start of the last college football season. So, yeah, wherever he ends up, I don't know if he's going to fall all the way to Carolina. I think there's a few teams in front that might want to grab him, but yeah, he'll be a player for sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Let's take a quick break. TR will join us. We got Dave McCarthy, more busy show. It's the Tuesday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. They can meet all your car needs and more with their digital vehicle report. They don't just tell you what your car needs. They'll show you, including maybe some new tires right now on FountainTire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
4 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Canadians in Tampa. Sabres host the Bruins. Mammoth and Golden Knights, and the Avs taking on the Kings. Colorado, Vegas, Buffalo, Montreal, all leading those series 1 game tonight. In the association, starting at 5, the Celtics host the Sixers. Blazers in San Antonio. The Lakers up against the Rockets just after 8:30. Toronto Blue Jays once again in Anaheim, taking on the Angels. First pitch, 7:38. We'll have that game for you here on Sports 1440, AM feed only. Coverage starting at 7:30. Elsewhere, Brewers in Detroit. The Rays taking on the Reds, Astros, and Guardians. Red Sox host the Yankees. Phillies travel to Chicago to take on the Cubs, and the Mariners hosting the A's. In the AJ League final, Game 3, they head back to Canmore. Eagles lead the series 2-10 over Whiteport. Puck up at 7 in the BCHL. Crusaders hosting Brooks in Game 3 of their series, tied at 1 apiece. And in the PWHL, New York in Toronto at 5, then at 8, Montreal hosting Vancouver. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Terry Ryan, also Dave McCarthy of SiriusXM, and we'll hear the latest edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. Delivering you
afternoon. How are you? And welcome.
Almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So sit on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
I've got some good news if you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck. The 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's after 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. How are you, Oilers fans? Team's up 1-0. They won a game one. Ooh. Remember, game ones have not been guarded. Although last year they did win 2, so that's good news. Got better, but historically they haven't been great in round 1 game ones. But they got the win last night. Dominated the first period. Sat back, turned the puck over too much in the second period. Lost key face-off on the penalty kill. Then they came back in the third period. Dickinson and Kapanen, who are the first 2 goal scorers of the game, became the third and fourth goal scorers again. So each guy with a pair of goals. Dickinson in his career has 6 games, 4 in the regular season, 2 in the playoffs, where he has scored multiple goals in a game. He does have 1 hat trick. 3 of those 6 games have come against the Ducks. So he does like scoring multi-goal games against Anaheim. Kasperi Kapanen, last night was his 51st NHL playoff game. Second time he scored 2 goals in a game. First time, though, since 2017, almost a decade ago when he was with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So huge game for both of those guys. Kind of unexpected to have both of them with multiple goal games, but it's a huge win for the Edmonton Oilers. It is the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You know it would be huge. Lotto Max, $40 million tonight. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. Also some Max Millions as well. As we get to Terry Ryan. Right now, of course, in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. 53 years. They have grown and expanded and become one of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta. Just a great family success story from the Buntings, from Dad now to Blake, running the company at actionelectrical.net. As Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy hockey playoffs. I tell you, wow, does the pace ever increase in the NHL into the playoffs? It's like no other sport. It's crazy like how many hits are being finished, how exciting. For all traditionalists out there, of which, I mean, I think I'm one. I welcome evolution, and you got to adapt, of course. Things change. You know, I like it rough. I like that part of the game, that it meets skill and finesse, you know, and it takes not just that, right? You got to be pretty tough to be out there, but boy, are there hits being finished. Wow, I just love it. It's my favorite time, too, the first round, because after this, you know, the pace, while way up from the regular season, people are getting to wear down a little bit. You know, in 20 games from now, whoever's left standing in the final, the Oilers can tell you this, man, it is a absolute battle to the end. And to see it start like this always makes me proud to be a hockey player when I watch games like this.
Well, and you know what? Lots of series have different levels of animosity. The Montreal Tampa one was amped up more so because Montreal just kept killing them on the power plays. Tampa just took dumb penalty after dumb penalty in the offensive zone. Utah and Vegas might have been the nastiest, which I don't know if you would have pulled me at the start, I'm not sure I would have had that one, but good for that. And I know a lot of people were all upset because Dowd's like, I'm going to bleeping kill you. And I laugh. I'm like, anybody who's ever played, like, people will say it, but it doesn't mean you actually believe you're going to kill the person as far as shooting a gun, stabbing them. But it is something that's kind of funny because, you know, I'm going to kill you. You run guys like it's hilarious how many times people say it, never thinking about actually murdering their guy. You like, you know, I'm kind of basically it's like the way of saying they want to hurt you. Like they're mad, they're frustrated. They just don't know how else to say it. But it just makes me laugh when I see some people who clearly have no clue about sports or have no idea that it isn't the real world. And what you say on the ice at times doesn't mean it's actually to be taken literally.
It's usually not. I mean, you know, I'm going to maim you. I'm going to murder you. I'm going to kill you. You're a blank, pick a lot of words. The odds are they're all really not going to happen. And you're not a blank. It's just the way it goes. It basically means I'm not scared of you. And I'm coming, you know, that's basically your translation. That's really all you would need for the most part. It opened up the first game I watched. I just turned on the Carolina-Ottawa game, the first one. Holy God. I mean, there were so many hits being finished. It was great. And it reminded me, it reminded me of the difference between regular season and playoffs. Now, a lot of people ask me why. I really think because it's too long. I just don't think anybody could keep that up for 80 games. I think you could do it in football. I don't think it's always done, but I think you could. Yeah, 20 games. You know, you're asking for more out of an NHL player in the playoffs than in football, preseason, playoffs, regular season, all combined. And people think that it's the same level of ferociousness and physicality. It's not even close. You can't do it in hockey. I fully believe it. I'm not down on the players when I say, you know, in the regular season, you got to take your foot off the gas a little bit. I don't think anybody is humanly capable of playing 100 games like that. It's wild to see. It'll never, their schedule will never be shortened. But I guess the bonus that you get out of it is seeing this level of tenacity in round one. I don't think you can. Trying to think of the sports. If you want to start thinking outside the box, Australian roots, football, rugby, I suppose. But I'm just saying, of the four major sports, I don't think there's a comparison. I really don't.
The Edmonton Oilers get a big win in the opening game against the Anaheim Ducks. They storm out to a 2-0 lead. Then they kind of stub their toe in the second period. Then they come back in the third, get a little bit of a break. Gudis blows a wheel, allows Ekholm to fly down the left side, takes a clapper. Dickinson buries the rebound. What'd you make of the game last night?
Well, first of all, it started almost midnight Newfoundland time, and I was up at 5. So I watched a period, and then I got up and saw the rest of it through fast forwards and highlights. At the game recorded. What did I think of it? I thought that Edmonton gave them a bit of a scare, or sorry, Anaheim. I thought Anaheim, I don't know why I wasn't expecting them to be that physical, but they came out a little bit more physical than I thought. They hung in there more than I thought. The Oilers had control, not by a ton. So I was surprised. And the Oilers, I think, I won't say lucky, but to have won the game. But I think they all know that, wow, okay, we're a little bit alert going in here. They easily could have won that game. So I think there's that level. And again, I don't think that they took Anaheim for granted. I just think maybe the hockey world in general, when you were to read like write-ups or who's going to win and what's going to happen, I didn't read much saying Anaheim's going to take it to the Oilers physically. And the Oilers matched. They came back. They're not to be intimidated. But that's what I thought. Anaheim kind of surprised. I thought they would be 2 cakewalks in Edmonton or something just short of that, and it certainly wasn't. Could have gone either way. But I don't think there's much to complain about. I love Dickinson's. Was it the second goal? Again, I saw highlights. He's the one that received the pass on the backhand, right?
No, Dickinson's first goal was that great pass from Wallman. Right
now, great pass from Wallman. It really was. Was a great pass, but Dickinson has to get credit. Taking it on your backhand in traffic like that, a bullet of a pass, without like questioning. Like usually that seamlessness might be obvious on the forehand, but to take the pass where he took it and then go in, that's a top-notch move, man. I don't know. I know his stats. I know what he's good at. I love him on the Oilers. I think he's a great fit. Was I expecting those kind of moves and that kind of creativity and hockey IQ? Not really. So, but then again, I haven't really watched Chicago much the last few years because there's been no reason to watch. So that, to me, that like it was a great pass, but I've seen that pass before. That the way he received that puck, when he did, where he did, the context of the whole situation deserves hats off.
Oh yeah, and Kasperi Kapanen, a great play, but to knock that rebound out of midair the first time and then control the rebound, bury it, and then he just gets in the right spot, reads the pass. A great play by Draisaitl. Like Draisaitl's zone entry on the game-winning goal was phenomenal. To go through 2 really strong players, control the puck, go around the boards, then win a board battle, dump it behind the net to Podkolzin, and then Podkolzin pretending he's Draisaitl light with a backhand pass right on the tape. And Kapanen, who can really shoot the puck, no hesitation. He's a player who we saw it last year when he came into the playoffs. He elevated his game. And this year, up until it's funny, the worst part of Kapanen's season was probably the last 10 games. But other than that, like he'd been really good. Then he'd get hurt. Then he'd come back, he'd play well. Then he'd get hurt again. Then he played well. And then he kind of tailed off a bit. But man, he got to the playoffs and it was basically like playoff Kapanen again. And it's interesting, Terry, how some guys just have that ability. They're like, okay, the games matter a little bit more. I'm into it. And Kapanen's one of those guys. And so is Jake Wallman, because Jake Wallman in the regular season was not very good this year. Not very consistent at all, but he was excellent yesterday.
Yeah, like consistency, right? And in Kapanen's case, you kind of, you empathize a little bit because it's hard to be consistent when your health is inconsistent, right? It's hard to keep those numbers up. It's hard to, even if there's numbers, it's hard to flow with the game and with your teammates, and you just keep getting bumped back a little bit. Wallman, it's a long season. It's just a long season. And I think for someone that plays so much, has all these expectations, and at times went for a little dip, it's just easy to kind of expect that. But, he's a fantastic D that now that it seems locked in. The other thing, and Kapanen, I think he really stepped up. But you mentioned Draisaitl at the beginning of that. Again, like every team doesn't have the fortune of having their stars. You guaranteed they're going to show up. Like when he was playing the game, and he figured he was going to play, but up until now, weren't really sure. And he played hard. He played effective. He went into traffic. I just can't say enough about the guy. It's one thing to have superstars on your team, but talk to half the league. A lot of them aren't consistent, don't show up. Like, those guys are showing up. You're positive. And what did they win by a goal? It's often the difference, right? It's often the goal, of course, that Draisaitl has a big part in, but just watch him play. Like, the guy's a leader, right? You knew he was going to come back, and you didn't care. You might have a bad groin, 2 broken ribs, and a separated shoulder, but you know that he's going to do something. It's wild, and it's historically accurate. I'm not just saying this. The eye test is one thing, but both McDavid and Draisaitl are up there in all-time points per game in a different era. It's just wild. Just wild.
Well, Draisaitl actually has the highest points per game in NHL history in Game 1 at 1.94 in Game 1 of a series. Like a guy who shows up and gets your team ready to roll, and he's ready to roll when the playoffs start in Game 1 of every series. It's pretty impressive for him. He's got the even better than Gretzky, which is pretty damn hard to do. Now it's only for
Jason,
Game 1.
not to cut you off. Sorry. I want to say one thing because I'll forget to say it, and I always forget to say it. But people bring up this word hockey culture. Been hearing it for the last couple of years. You hear hockey. That's what the culture is. There, come in. I'm going to lead. This is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm hurt. And I'm going to come in and be the best, and I'm going to make sure that we have the best chance to beat this team because I'm going to go out and do it, and I'm going to show you. And when you're young, or even if you're not young, you get traded over or whatever, and you come into a room and people play like that and act like that and lead like that, that's the culture. You don't have to go too far beyond it. It's not, what you're dressed, what's he wearing coming to the rink? How is he going to be on the power play? Ooh, is he going to make this? Culture is set by the leaders. And from depending on what kind of leadership group, that can be one person or it can be a committee of people. But look at the Pittsburgh Penguins or look at the Colorado Avalanche, look at the Edmonton Oilers. That's culture. It's culture because their leaders are fantastic leaders. That's why, and they set the culture. Culture. I keep hearing this word. It's what leadership you have and what they put up with.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Take a quick break. Dave A. McCarthy joins us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Two come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At Booster Juice,
Culture.
doing good tastes
they put
really
up-
good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, good to go.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is back. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands including Continental, Michelin, Motomaster, and Pirelli until May 21st. Conditions apply. Details online.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes and have been doing so in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.330, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Hanley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show as always. We appreciate it. Give a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Very thankful for that. Gregor Show is always brought to you by playalberta.ca. And of course, you can get in on Lotto Max tonight, but also every day we have the odds boost for you at the Jason Gregor Show. If you want to check it out, we got a little Canadians Lightning action tonight, Utah, as well as the Utah. We're going with the Utah win tonight. And the Avs and the Kings, I'm having a hard time, not going to lie. I watched their game one. I'm like, I don't know if I can commit. I can't watch every series, but I'm at the point now that I'm watching the Utah Vegas series tonight. It's not even close. And I might just tap out at that point. I don't know if I want to watch LA, Colorado. Like, I know it's only one game, but maybe it's because I've seen LA for many years. Like, they're just not riveting to watch. I'm just not sure I can get into it. I might try. Hey, hopefully they surprise me. But, God, I hope this is the last year of the just slogging, brutal LA King style. Like, it doesn't work. You have not won a playoff series since 2014. It does not work. Full stop. Let's go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. You thought the hype was over? Well, think again. After its viral debut back in 2023, the legendary Chicken Big Mac is officially making its comeback in Canada. Right now, for a limited time, only at McDonald's. As we are joined by a host of ice caps right now in the playoffs on Sirius XM. Of course, the brunch on Sundays. Dave A. McCarthy joins us as he always does every Tuesday. Davey, how you doing, my man?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I got to ask you, what did you think of did you think that was a penalty on Brady Tkachuk?
I wouldn't have called that if I was the official. I mean, it's playoff hockey. By the letter of the law, it probably is, but that happens how many times a game and it doesn't get called. And so that's where I think you start to take issue with it. If you're not going to call them all, then I don't think you can call any unless it's particularly egregious. And I don't think that was. And so, yeah, I was a little surprised that was a penalty. But in saying that, sometimes I think the reputation that you have as a player acts to play toward the likelihood of a penalty being called on you or not. And Brady is a guy who likes to essentially derive his reputation on being in your face and physical, and you're not going to push us around, and I'm going to set the tone and all that. If Timothy Stützle does that, if Drake Batherson does that, maybe a penalty doesn't get called, but eyes are on you when you're Brady Tkachuk. And if you're going to throw in an extra shot, I think maybe he runs the likelihood of it being called maybe a little bit more so than another guy on his team. So that's the risk you run. And the best are able to play on that line and not go over it. And, I guess the ref decided that was a penalty. I wouldn't have called it. But I can see why in the eyes of some officials it would get called. And I guess what I would say is if you're Brady Tkachuk, does that really impact the game in any fashion? Does that really set any kind of tone? Or is it just too much of a risk to run at that point of the game? And that's where he needs to figure out where that line is for him. Because I'm telling you, Jason, I think the line for each player is different when it comes to the rule book. It sounds like it shouldn't be the case, but that's human nature. Remember, the officials are human beings. They're not robots. And they all have a preconceived notion of what a guy is all about. And I think in his case, he does that, he's more likely to get a call than anybody else.
Yeah, I looked at that play and it was like a little touch. Never even hit his head. It was in the back of like in the shoulder area. I just was like, wow. Like you watch how many times guys will push each other and shove back and nothing happens. I just thought it was kind of a weak call. I learned something about the delay on offside review last night that I was not aware of. And now I read the rule book. I'm like, all right, it's in the rule book, but it seems odd to me. Like if you go back to where the offside is, anything that happened after the offside should be negated. But yes, it isn't. So away you go. And it ultimately didn't impact the game because Allmark made the save. And that was a hell of a game, man.
Oh,
like, it was a hell of a game in Ottawa. Like that's one of those games now where we'll see, like emotionally, that can be a hard game to come back from, right? You get into double overtime, your goalie stops it. You're thinking, oh my God, we got a chance. And then you hit multiple goalposts.
Oh, I know.
My goodness, Tim Stützle is going to be having nightmares here for a while. Oh my goodness, you should have won that game.
Honestly, like as it pertains to the rules were adjudicated correctly. That's one discussion. You may not like how it played out, but that's a different argument than the rules were not adjudicated correctly. They were. If you don't like it, then you got to talk about changing the rules. So as it stands by the letter of the law, they handled that properly. I get why the application of the rule of infractions that occur, this is so hard to even articulate, after the issue in question but before the goal are made to be upheld, even if the play was determined to be offside. It's so that if a guy realizes in real time that the play is going to be called offside, it's to preclude, to quote the great Yosemite Sam from Looney Tunes back in the day, a guy saying, "Don't just forget the rules." You can't have that. So I get it. It makes sense. Yeah. Weird, but it makes sense. The way the game ended, honestly, when Timothy Stützle made that move and got around Freddie, I got up from the chair. I'm like, game over. Wait, what? That didn't go in? Couldn't believe he didn't put that in the net.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge miss there. That game should have been over there. Can't believe he missed. Amadio hitting the post in overtime. You get away with giving up a goal. The goalie stops the penalty shot. If you're Ottawa, you're thinking, man, this is going to come up us at some point, right? Because I think to an extent they were the better team in overtime. I thought they carried the play. They had the more grade A chances, but for the one that was called back. And then the ultimate goal, I thought they kind of maintained play in the Carolina end a little bit more often than Carolina in the Ottawa end. And so here you go, you play two pretty good games, I think, and you come home down 2-0. Freddie Anderson was just simply a little bit better than Linus Ullmark in game one. The stop he made on Drake Batherson, outrageous save. And then on Matthew Tkachuk, like 35 seconds later while sitting on his butt. Like, how often does a chance like that not go in the net? You're not flush. It's going to roll under you. It didn't in that case. Crazy. So I think if you're Ottawa, as tough as it is to be down 2-0, I think you have to go into game 3 still feeling relatively confident with the way you've played as a group. They haven't been blown out. They've been right there. The breaks haven't fallen their way. But if they keep this up, I think the breaks will start to fall their way. And I think they still have a chance to get back in this series. I'll put it this way. If you're Carolina, I think you got to be glad that you won and you got up 2-0, because if you go back 1-1 after those first 2 games to Ottawa, I think it's huge advantage Senators at this point. So I still like the position that Carolina's in. You'd rather be up 2-0 than down 0-2. But if you're Ottawa, don't feel like you're out of this series yet either, because I think it's been just about as close to even as you can get.
Dave McCarthy joins us from Sirius XM. Last night there was some good games. Obviously, Edmonton comes back, wins their game. What'd you make of the Oilers Ducks game?
Well, I didn't think their top players were really any good. And the fact that they got a depth game that won them a hockey game is encouraging to an extent, because I don't think their top guys are going to be no good for very long. Like, McDavid's going to have a game. Draisaitl just came back after 14. It's understandable that maybe he was not at his best. But, man, McDavid, you're not going to hold that guy down for long. Zach Hyman is going to find a way to chip in around the net, as he always does throughout the course of a series. So, if I had told anyone in Edmonton, man, you take game 1 and it'll be Jason Dickinson. And I'll put it this way. Sneaky good playoff player, Kasperi Kapanen. Sneaky good playoff player. He was good in Toronto when he was here. He was good last year in Edmonton. It was great last night. You get a game like that where those guys chip in and Connor Ingram is good enough. Yeah, I think you'll take that. Yeah, we'll take up 1-0 here. And then we'll let Connor McDavid be himself. You're getting a 1-0 head start in the series. So, I was impressed with that, because I still am not concerned about the Oilers' top players. You're going to have off nights from time to time, but their top players are so good, it doesn't last that long. They're going to be themselves sooner than later. So encouraging to see if I'm Edmonton, because as the playoffs were on, and if they expect to go deep, it cannot just be McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins. You're going to have some games where it's guys that you don't expect to be the guys who deliver. And they got that in game 1. So encouraging. And I think the Oilers can be way better than they were last night.
I thought Draisaitl was pretty darn good for Edmonton on that line. His play that led to the game-winning goal was one of the best zone entries I've seen through 2 guys in quite some time. But it's great news for Edmonton that Bouchard and McDavid, who are great in the regular season for them, both kind of were non-existent as far as impact players in the game for the Edmonton Oilers. And you know what? You have to win games like that sometimes. And it shows you that, Edmonton's depth for that game definitely came up big. And I will say, I was surprised that Tim Washy was the forward who played the most minutes against Connor McDavid last night. And in 640 minutes, they were even 1-1 in shots. Now, you give me that matchup for a third of McDavid's ice time, usually against another team's fourth line. And I'm like, you know what? I think that's going to pan out very well. But I'll give him credit. And now I'm curious. The one thing McDavid does is He knows how to react and counter what the other teams do to him. And Anaheim clearly had a strategy, right? How McDavid, they know how he likes to break out. And so they had lots of guys funneling over to one side. I'm going to be curious to see if we see a few fake passes from the D-men to McDavid and hit the other guy at Savoy or Hyman on the other side to break out easily. So I'm something like you know, they're going to counter because Anaheim as a team did a pretty good job of containing them for one game.
For one game, but it's a chess match, right? McDavid's too intelligent to play into their hand for 7 games. You give me that matchup, Tim Washy against Connor McDavid over a 7-game series. I mean, let's be honest. Is there anyone not putting their money on Connor McDavid? So that's really encouraging to see. And like I said, the depth was also an impressive sign. Like, how about your boy there, Jake Wallman? What a pass to Jason Dickinson to set up the breakaway on that. I think it was the first goal that they scored. Incredible pass.
That was Wallman's best game of the season.
Yeah. But you know what? Fine. If you had a regular season where it left people wanting, doesn't matter now. Just start to play like you can in the playoffs and everyone will forget that. So yeah, that's why I say really encouraging to see because, you know, at first glance, I'm like, was that Evan Boone? No, that was Jake Wallman. All right, look at this. Now we're talking. That's an encouraging sign for the Oilers.
Utah Vegas might have been the nastiest game one. It's only game one, but do you think that continues? And you know, what can Utah do to get a win over Vegas?
Yeah, I do. I think like you got two conflicting styles there. I think in Utah, they'd love the game to turn into a track meet because I think that's their advantage. I don't think Vegas wins if it's a wide open up and down the ice type of game. You know, you look at the young, fast, skilled forwards that Utah has, guys like Dylan Guenther, guys like Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller. Like they'd love to run up and down the ice. Vegas knows that they're not going to win that way. So they're trying to clog things up. They're trying to drag that game into the alleys, that series into the alleys. And so I do expect it to continue to be mean and nasty on the part of Vegas to try to see if they can push Utah out of the series. And if they can, then I do think it favors Vegas. But if Utah can generate some speed and some open ice through the neutral zone and break the puck out effectively, I do wonder if Vegas has the ability to counter that speed in the long term. You know, they managed in game one, but I think that's what Utah is going to have to do in order to have success. Their game is going to have to be founded on speed, effectively moving the puck out of their own end, trying to get through the neutral zone with speed. And if they can do that, either dump the puck in and make the Vegas defenseman turn around and go in and get it, or even come through in transition. I do think that favors Utah, and I did pick them to win this series in 7 games. That was kind of my dark horse upset pick of the first round. You know, they got a bit of a break on a funny one that Carter Hart chopped off. The defenseman ended up going in, so you know that benefited Utah. I would like to see them generate more, but credit to Vegas. I thought they controlled the neutral zone pretty well, and to them. That's their key. If they can control the neutral zone, I think they will win this series. But if they can't, if Vegas can Utah can use their speed and their skill to their advantage, then I think it's in Utah's favor, and kind of why I think it's going to be a long series because I don't know if you can control the neutral zone every single game over a long series. So we'll see what happens. I do expect it to continue to be mean and nasty. But I would not be shocked at all if this was a long series. And I think Utah has the horses that could tip this in their favor so long as they get serviceable goaltending from Karl Vejmelka.
Davey, quickly, Montreal, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay obviously did not show their experience, took way too many offensive zone penalties, and Slavkovsky crushed them, first player in NHL history to have a hat trick with all 3 coming on the power play. What are you expecting for an encore in game 2 tonight?
Yeah, well, like Dobson being out of the lineup really hurts Montreal. Their D is young and inexperienced to begin with, and Dobson is the guy that represents a lot of the veteran presence. No, he doesn't play a heavy game, but he's just a steadying force back there. Not having him in the lineup is a loss. But in saying that, you're right. Tampa did not help themselves at all. You can't take offensive zone penalties. You're offering the other team an opportunity to beat you. It's hard enough to win. Don't be like, here, let us make it easier for you. And that's kind of what they did. And John Cooper said that after the game in game one. He was pretty forthright in his commentary. He just said it was stupid on our part. Like, we got to be better than that. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's no excuse. And I think he's got the clout to say that to his group. And I think the guys in that room respect him enough, even though he was pointed and direct, and kind of, he didn't call anybody out by name, but certainly called the group out. Guys who took the penalties know who it was. I think they'll look at him and be like, yeah, you know what? He's right. We got to make sure we don't put ourselves in a tight spot. And so game two, I'm looking at Tampa Bay's experience to be the advantage for them, and taking that lesson to heart and improving upon it and putting it into action. If you give Montreal opportunities on the power play, I think you're asking for big trouble if you're Tampa Bay. But I would be surprised if they would make those kind of mistakes again. So again, I think this is going to be a long series. I really do. And so I'm going to pick Tampa to win tonight because I don't expect them to shoot themselves in the foot to that extent. If they didn't take those penalties and that were uncharacteristic from their standpoint, I think they win game one. I think they realize that. I'd be surprised if they make those mistakes again.
Davey, we enjoy the first week of the NHL playoffs. It continues tonight. Should be a lot of fun. As always, we'll chat with you Sunday on the brunch. Have a great day.
Okay, buddy. See you.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Quick break. We will come back. We got lots of texts to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get to Tater and more.
Hold on to your hockey helmets, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 69-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadian and Coors Light for $5.75. Plus, OTR's TVs are so clear, you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? Score and win every game night during Edmonton's playoff run with specials starting 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksYEG.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill, still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Start your day with a blast of sports. Kevin Carius, along with Brandon Douglas, brings the fire, the fun, and the fearless takes. Weekdays, 7 to 11. Text Kevin, 883-401-1440. Mornings with Sports 1440.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made-in-Canada sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people that know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.353, rolling through. Jason Gregor, Connor Howling, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Declan running things over to YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's NHL playoffs. We got NBA playoffs. We got WHL playoffs. We got BCHL playoffs. You have NFL draft this week, man. It's a great time to be a sports fan. There's lots and lots to discuss. We've, of course, talked a lot about the Oilers win last night. And here's a few texts, and I want to get to them. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg, are you concerned with how the Oilers played last night? They keep doing that. They're not going to win the series, from Dan. Well, Dan, the great part I've known about the playoffs is a team can be bad in one game and a team can be really good in one game, and it doesn't guarantee the same thing will happen the next game. Most recent example, look at Dallas, Minnesota. Game 1, the Wild dominated. And what happened in game 2? Dallas controlled the game, got a few stops, and they win 4-2. Now, it's a close series. It's 1-1. But the Oilers didn't play their best, and they won. They didn't play poorly overall. They had long stretches where they were the better team, but they had a brutal second period. So, the playoffs it's never easy. Like, if you get that upset about a loss, that's fine. That's great to be a fan. You'd be disappointed. But I think at times when we have comments like this, Gregor, I can guarantee you right now the Oilers are beating no one with Evan Bouchard. Really, they're beating no one with Evan Bouchard. See, I love a comment like that. That's actually factually incorrect. They've won 6 of their last 8 series. So, in fact, they can beat a lot of people with Evan Bouchard. Now, Evan Bouchard didn't have a great game last night. Totally agree. But so just say that without the other stuff. I don't think people realize just how ignorant it looks when you make those claims. You can't beat anyone with Evan Bouchard. Well, you can beat a lot of people. You can beat Dallas twice. You can beat Vegas. You can beat Vancouver. You can beat LA. Beat a lot of teams. Right? And they'll beat Anaheim. The Oilers are going to win the series. I'm confident in that. I just think they're a better team. They're a more experienced team. Now, I like a lot about the Ducks. For the future. Not so much the present, but for the future, they've got some pieces that are going to mature and grow. Like Leo Carlsson did you see Leo Carlsson's stat line in the game last night? I'm not sure, because I get it. Everybody's looking at the Oilers, and rightfully so. Leo Carlsson had 10 shots on goal. He was an absolute force. A goal, an assist, and 10 shots on net. Look at the Oilers. Kapanen led them with 7. Then it was down to 3 for McDavid. Carlsson had as many shots as Kapanen and McDavid combined. Then their next guys had 6 and 5. So they kind of had their 3 guys, Carlsson, Seneke, and Troy Terry, who had 2 goals, 3 points. Those were their guys. They combined for 21 of the Ducks shots. 21. So pretty impressive by those three. Now, you could counter that, and Anaheim would say, hey, we'd like a few more guys to have it, but they had 21. And if you look at the Oilers forwards, Kapanen and McDavid had 10, Dickinson, Savoy, Draisaitl, Podkolzin and 2. That's 18. Then Hyman, Henrique, Rosovic, and Doc 1. So 22. The 3 Duck forwards had almost as many shots as the entire Oiler forward group. Right? On the back end, Nurse 5 shots. And he also hit the crossbar. Doesn't count as a shot on goal. Ekholm, Wallman, Bouchard didn't have a shot on goal last night. Nugent Hopkins didn't have a shot on goal. Those are guys who were on the ice a lot. So you would like to see a little bit more from them. McDavid, he wasn't bad. He just at times looked a little frustrated. The one power play, I don't know if I've ever seen. I think he had 4 turnovers on the one power play. Was not a great. Hey, Gregor, I'll make the same claim. It's not the Ducks. Every other team we play keep pounding a Bouchard's corner. What? What are you talking about, RL? Like, I don't even know why I read that. I think I got dumber reading that statement. You think that Bouchard's one of the best puck handling defensemen? Oh, but everybody dumps it into his corner. Okay. Unbelievable. Hey, Greg's, do you think the change to savings time, how's that going to impact sports fans? Well, if you look at it, if they stay on what we are right now, it's not good. You need to go, so we're always 2 hours, behind these, just stay there. Because if we go to, you want to go to standard, not daylight savings. Daylight savings would be an awful decision. From a sports fan perspective, awful. And think about it. I'll just tell you right now, because next year, if it actually goes through, your games locally, because how TV works, they're going to be starting even later in the first round of the playoffs, even later. So that would not be ideal. So keep that in mind. I don't think it's great. Well, no, that's not for the playoffs, but for the regular season, it wouldn't be good at all. So now you can talk about, you look at the map, and do people in Grand Prairie want to not have light until 10 a.m.? Right? Like, they've done all the studies on it. People way smarter than me. And they said, if you're going to get rid of it, it would be ideal if everybody got rid of it. Right? That's the challenge. But if you're going to do it, then Alberta should be on standard, not daylight. And you can go read the articles. This is not my opinion. That's what all the people who studied all of it, they'll say it's better. So we'll see. Hey, Greg, would you say Ingram is the calmest goalie the Oilers have had? I don't think Stu Skinner was really ever an excitable goalie. Not really. Right? I think people at times criticize him for not. Rarely would you see Stu Skinner, moving all around. Stu Skinner was the guy who kind of played compact. That was at his best. So, no, I don't. I think that, Ingram, he came up with 2 big saves last night in the third period, that's really what you want from your goalie. 2 key timely saves. I think the time of a save can mean more than the quantity of the saves you get from a goalie. Right? We're not going to see a lot of quantity anymore just by, they track actual shots way more accurately than they did before. So I think people are going to have to, if you're a big believer in save percentage, you're probably going to have to readjust how you view save percentage, because it's not going to be 900. Did Ingram have a good game last night? Yep. It was under 900 save percentage. Does that mean he played poorly? Far from it. But when you have fewer shots, like, giving up 3 goals a game in a hockey game doesn't mean you had a bad game. Not at all. Now, depending on, I guess, how the goals go in. But I look at Ingram, and his play in the third period is exactly what you want. I didn't think any of the first 3 goals were awful by any stretch of imagination, but it's key timely saves. The first one on Seneca, and that led right to the tying goal a few seconds later. That's a massive save. But the one on Carlson might have been even bigger in the 3-3 game with about 4 minutes to go. The Ducks, really nice zone entry, little touch pass. Carlson comes in late, walks right down the pipe on a 2-on-1. That is a big, big save. Big save for them, for sure. So it's what you need. As far as Combine, I never had a lot of people criticize Skinner that he was out of position a lot. Sometimes people criticize him because he wasn't, he's too deep on the goal line, right? I didn't hear a lot of complaints about Stuart Skinner's, running out of his net. That's not something that I really saw a whole bunch of. Hey, Greg's, who do you think they'll bring in for Henry? Coach wouldn't commit to it today. Well, I got to think it's Josh Szymanski. He's the one who's been playing there the most. And I know there's a lot of people like, I love Josh Szymanski. He's great. And like Josh Szymanski's been one of the more unexpected surprises of the Oilers team. But I'm not sold that Josh Szymanski's like this, do-all, end-all must-have in the lineup. Like, I understand why Adam Henrique played ahead of him. All you have to do is look at the power play goal in the second period. That's why Adam Henrique was in the lineup. He doesn't lose. And if he does lose a faceoff, he rarely loses it clean. Sometimes, yes. But that's what cost him. 5 seconds on the power play. Right off a blatant faceoff loss. And because the Oilers don't have any right shot center icemen, teams, most of them, because lots of teams have left shot centers, so guess which faceoff side they like to take? On the lefty strong side, which is in the defensive zone, the right side. And Henrique was the Oilers' best faceoff guy on his weak side at 54%. It's good. The Oilers don't have that now. So I think it'll be Szymanski, but I don't think it's a guaranteed, like, oh my God, Szymanski's in and doesn't matter what he does. Like, they'll look at it. I think when I watch him play, the areas of his game that will improve, and he's a rookie, but the areas of his game that can improve, he's got to be stronger on the puck for sure. And eventually he's got to create, you can't be scared to try to make some offensive plays. He played 24 games this year. He had 9 shots on goal. 9. That's the tied for the fewest shots of any forward in the NHL. 699 of them who played 24 games or more. So he would, and if you look at shots per game, he's right there. The only guy, worse, his name escapes me, but there's one guy who had 9 shots in 27 games. So he's the one guy who had a lower shot rate than Szymanski. Now, he's a rookie, and you want defense on a team that wants it. But in the playoffs, look at last night. Got to have some guys every now and then that step up. So hopefully Szymanski, now maybe he'll just say, man, it's playoffs. Boom. I'm going to be more assertive because he can skate. He's very smart. He's always below the puck. Awesome. But you'd like it to generate a little bit more offense. I never bought into he was the guy driving the Doc Frederick line. Look at him last night. They're both very good. They outshot the opposition when they're on the ice, combined for 10 hits between the two of them. Doc had 7 of them. They were solid. Szymanski comes in. He'll be fine. I think it kind of got them out of a flow as a team, I thought, not having Henrique there, right? You're shifting guys around a little bit. So I do think having the 12 forwards in the playoffs, when the shorter shifts, more intense shifts, I do think that's a better overall play for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanups, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Visit hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
4 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Lightning host the Canadiens, Bruins in Buffalo, Golden Knights in Mammoth, the Kings taking on the Avs in the Association. 3 games starting at 5, Celtics and Sixers, the Blazers in San Antonio, and the Lakers taking on the Rockets. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays looking to rough the roadie in Anaheim with a win. First pitch, 7:38. We'll have that one for you on our AM feed starting at 7:30. Elsewhere, Astros head to Cleveland, Tigers host the Brewers, Braves and Nationals, Yankees, Red Sox, Royals host the Orioles, Pirates get the Rangers, Padres and Rockies, while the Mariners hosting the Athletics at 7:40. In the AJ League Final Game 3 in Canmore, Eagles lead that series 2-0 over Whitecourt. Puck drop at 7 in the BCHL. The Crusaders hosting Brooks in Game 3 of their series, tied at 1 apiece. That also gets going at 7 on the PWHL. New York's in Toronto at 5. And at 8 o'clock, Vancouver hosting Montreal. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to the stat of the day, Tater's 2-minute warning, and be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio. radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Tasting just so right. You can order noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. Delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca.
Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube,
For the
Facebook,
first time in
Instagram,
66 years, Golden Bears and Pandas hockey are on the move. During the 2026-27 Canada West season, two of the most successful hockey
Sports
programs
1440.
in youth sports history will call Silent Ice Center in Nisku their temporary home. The Golden Bears and Pandas are excited to connect with the South Edmonton community and welcome new fans to experience the tradition and excitement of U of A hockey. Same tradition, new temporary home. Golden Bears and Pandas hockey at Silent Ice Center for the 26-27 season.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker. Join us for the Titan Supply pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrobacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of Central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through Ooh, like it. Playoff hockey, baby. One game, and it's good for one team, bad for the other. What's awesome about it, you got to try to stay even keel if you're the team. But you looked at it last night. Ottawa was able to push it to overtime, double overtime, but couldn't get the win. Meanwhile, Minnesota had a 1-0 series lead. Could not take it home 2-0. They are tied 1 apiece. Tonight, you have 4 series ongoing, including Montreal trying to go up 2-0, Buffalo, Vegas, and Colorado. And that's the last 3 are all the home teams in Buffalo, Vegas, and Colorado looking to go up 2-0. Philly on the road, the only road team to go perfect 2-0. And, man, they looked really good against the Penguins. We'll see. Hey, now some people say, oh, series doesn't begin until someone loses at home. Well, then I would say that series has really begun because the home team lost twice. And Flyers look good right now, man. And old Porter Martone, what a start. That guy's just becoming a legend in Philadelphia. And did you see the shift by Owen Tippett on the Garnet Hathaway shorthanded goal? That was a hell of an effort by him to get them up 2-0. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're going to get to our stat of the day. Stats of the day brought to you by All-Star Construction. What do? Underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunications, street lighting, also directional drilling, and hydrovacing. Founded in 2009. They help build the communities. That is All-Star Construction. The Edmonton Oilers, some numbers to chew on. First of all, for Connor McDavid, no points, a rarity for him. But the Edmonton Oilers are all-time 7-16 now in games where McDavid doesn't register a point. Only the third time they were able to score 4 or more goals without him doing so. Good news. And McDavid getting shut out in back-to-back games in the postseason doesn't happen. So, very good chance that you could see McDavid with a better performance in game 2. But credit the Ducks, I thought, as a team, not just individuals, as a team. Because if you look at the breakdown of minutes played against Connor McDavid, it was Tim Washy leading the way at 640. Tim Washy. I didn't expect him. McDavid played 1840. Washy played the most. Now, they basically split their top 2 D pairs. Right? You had, because the third pair, Gudas played 48 seconds and Tyson Hines only played a minute. They didn't want those guys out against McDavid's line, which is what we talked about yesterday. Do you honestly, like, everyone's like, oh, you worried about Gudas? I'm like, if they put Gudas out against McDavid, you'd take that matchup all day long. The Ducks obviously didn't want that matchup. But Tim Washy was 640. Leo Carlson, 530. Michael Granlund, 412. So those guys play the majority of it. Poling did play 219. Their third line center. That was the line they kind of kept away from McDavid a little bit. And we'll see. I'll say this. If you're going to tell me that every game McDavid's going to get to play 6 to 7 minutes against the other team's fourth line, I'm taking that matchup every day. Because I think eventually it's going to benefit McDavid. Game 1, Washy will go to bed at night. Hey, I was pretty happy. In his 640 of ice time, 1 shot McDavid's line, 1 shot Washy's line. Can't get much more even than that. So they would be happy with it. Dickinson and Kapanen each scoring 2 goals. Jason Dickinson joins a small group of Oilers who scored 2 goals in their playoff debut with the Oilers. Now, Yari Curry did it back in 1981 in game 1 of the first round. Yaroslav Pozar did it in game 4 of the 1983 conference finals. His first game as an Oiler, came over from Europe. And now this one, if some of you would have remembered this, I give you loads of credit. But Brian Glynn scored 2 goals for the Oilers in 1992 in their opening game. I would not have guessed that guy at all. Was not someone that you would think of as a goal scorer, especially because he was a defenseman. But that year in 1991-92, man, he had 4 goals in 16 games as the Oilers went to the conference final. But he had a pair of goals as a D-man in his first game with the Edmonton Oilers. So talk about making yourself a good first impression. Obviously, Dickinson, he only had 1 goal in 17 regular season games for the Oilers. He wasn't brought here necessarily for his offense, but you got to chip in, and he chipped in his opening game. For a guy like Kasperi Kapanen, that was his 51st playoff game, second time in his career that he has scored 2 goals in a game. And with Dickinson, when you think back to Dickinson, how many of you right now are saying, hey, I thought Dickinson had a really good game? Right? Most of you would say that. And here's why I agree. Because there are certain things you can't weigh everything evenly. You just can't. Like when we're talking shots on goal and goals, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. To me, it's foolish to think of it that way. Because if you did, then you'd look, well, I didn't really like Dickinson's game. You know why? Because he was outshot 9-4. And his expected goals for. Now, which site are you going to look at? Because one had him at 35, one had him at 42, one had him at 44, which is why I've always been a little bit hesitant. I'm like, well, which one is accurate? Because that's a pretty big difference, 9%. It's a pretty big difference. Would you ever just say, hey, look at this site has his shooting percentage at 18 and the other one's at 9. Oh, okay, they're even. No, they're not. They're not at all. So expected goals, like it's expected. But that doesn't mean it's like actual. Right? It's still a formula and it's far from perfect. But I look at Dickinson. I didn't see him make any glaring errors defensively. I didn't see where it was repeated, where he was hemmed in his own zone and he was playing on his heels. Not really. But so some people who only just want to analyze based on the analytics, got outshot, expected goal, so it wasn't a great game. I would disagree. And especially in the playoffs, it's a small sample of 4 to 7 games, max 7. And you can have one good game where, let's say you have a good game, you outshoot a team 11-2, and every other game, maybe get outshot 5-4, 4-5, whatever. But the one game makes it look like, oh, look at this guy. He's like a 70% shot share. Is that realistic? Or was it one game? And sometimes you can have one shift, take a shot, bang home a rebound, another rebound. You get 3 or 4 shots in a short period of time. It doesn't always tell the story. And I think analytics in the playoffs sometimes is even less because, look at the Oilers' third goal. Wallman makes a nice breakout pass, but Anaheim's in really good position until Gudas falls down. If that's the other way, you're kind of annoyed. It's not a bad play. It's just an unlucky one. You don't want to fall down in that situation. That allowed Ekholm to come in way closer, rip a clapper. He's got a hard shot. Dostal can't control the rebound, kicks out, empty net goal for Dickinson. Now, what happens if Gudas doesn't fall? Right? So you look at that, and you look at shots for, you look at expected goals, everything into that. Does expected goals factor in the Gudas fall? No, it does not. So that's why there's more to it. And I don't think you can live and die by analytics in the playoffs. Just me. It's too small of a sample size. And some big plays, they can't all be weighted even. You can't weigh every shot attempt evenly. Doesn't work. So, Gregor, what's goal share? Goal share is basically, so if you're on the ice for 6 goals for and 4 goals against, that's a total of 10. Your goal share is the goals for, so that's 60%. Right? When you're on the ice, 60% goal share, it's basically a 6-4 ratio. That's the most round number I can use. I think it's pretty easy. It's the way you go. So that's what the goal share would be. Right? Now, Dickinson was 2-1, so he was a 66%. Right? 2 goals for, 1 goal against. But his shot share was much lower because it was 4 of 13. Not good. All right? So what was that, 37? So, shot share I can at least buy into. But again, what if you're just giving up outside shots? Hey, you guys want to shoot from the outside perimeter? Got no traffic in front? Go ahead. Knock your socks off. It's not a dangerous play. So, Dickinson, you know what? If you expect a player to make every play properly and every read properly, I'm always, it's kind of funny for some of the harshest critics of of athletes, and none of them, no offense, have never played at any level, but they'll talk. I can't believe that idiot made that decision. It's quick second, man. Split decision. And sometimes you lean left, and all of a sudden you've leaned too far. You give a guy space, it's back of your net. That's how you go, right? That's how you go. So I look at Edmonton, and last night, Dickinson, I thought he played a really good game because he scored 2 massive goals. Those impact the game more. He didn't make any glaring defensive error. Just because you make a wrong read and a guy gets a slot pass, it's going to happen every now and then. That's like the game's quick. But overall, it's a great game by him. You look at Jake Wallman. Is that the best game Jake Wallman's played this year? I would argue it might be. 2 assists, 2 hits. It was all over the place. And more importantly, and it doesn't really track, look how many times you saw Wallman. When he's at his best, he has that play where he likes to come behind the net or even in the corner, the forechecker come, and he explodes out the other side away from the pressure. Even in the D zone, if he's in the corner, someone's coming, he's able to do that lateral move, and then he explodes up ice, and he creates space and time for himself. And he did that multiple times. We hadn't really seen that in the regular season. But Jake Wallman now, I know it's only 1 game, but last year, he was really good in the playoffs. And from 1 game, man, here's a guy that looked like, all right, let's step it up. And that's good news for the Edmonton Oilers. Some other numbers to chew on for the Oilers. I mentioned, McDavid not scoring points. How about this, though? So he has 18 games with 0 points since 2021. But if you go in his career, it's 23. In his career, 3+ point games, 21. But since 2021, and I'm not including the lockout who was in the bubble. I'm talking fans in the stands from 21 until now. And the Oilers got swept in 4-21. McDavid has played more games where he scored 3 points in a playoff game than he has where he scored 0 points. Because it's 19 with 3+, 25 with 2 points, 18 with 1 point, and 18 with 0 points in those 80 games from 2021 until now. So not bad. How about Colton Dach? What did we talk about yesterday, Cons? I didn't expect the 4th line because they don't kill penalties. You're not going to get 10, 11 minutes on this team when you got McDavid and Draisaitl. You're just not. And I get why. Because those guys are more threatening than most other teams' first and second line centers. They just are. So as a coach, would you give your 4th line 3 more minutes to take it away from them? I can see why you wouldn't, especially when you're trailing in a game. But Colton Dach played 8:04, Frederick 8:33. They outshot the opponents 4-2. Dach had 7 hits. Frederick had 3. They combined for 10. They're physical. I thought it was another strong game by those two. And they didn't really have a regular center after Henrique left the game. And so it is a little bit different, right? Just to get into the flow and get into rotation. So Szymanski likely is probably the guy who draws back in the next game. And the other guy I mentioned was Leo Carlsson. 10 hits, big, huge body. Goal and an assist. That is a guy. Even Oiler fans are probably like, if you take a step back and you cheer for your team, but you're like, okay, I can respect that guy's ability as a player. And Jackson Lacombe, something you don't see very often. You don't see Zach Hyman get rocked like that very often. That was a hard, clean reverse hit. I would expect him to be just fine and ready to roll in game 2 tomorrow night. So that's our stats of the day brought to you by All-Star Construction. When we come back, Jason Strudwick will join us. We're going to talk Wallman. We're going to talk the Ducks defense and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meat, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
For over 50 years, the Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made-in-Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
It's the EV for City Wildlife, the all-new, all-electric 2026 Subaru Uncharted. Quick charging with get-up and go performance. And best of all, so much fun. So test drive the all-new, all-electric 2026 Uncharted today and discover why it's definitely the Subaru for you. The EV for City Wildlife. To learn more about this very exciting arrival and all things Subaru, start here. Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Smart, connected, community-driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor, 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
If you change your...
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Do you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
4:30. How are you? Tuesday, man. I'm so nice. I just sat backyard today, just taking it all in. It seems like it's been a while where you could just go out and enjoy the warm weather. So day off today. I know Oiler fans, you pretty much got your schedule set for the week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Mark it down. You're like, hey, you know what? Life maybe gets put on pause for those few hours to watch the game. His mixing a walk, maybe. Hoping your other activities can get done. Little raking, got all of that. I don't know how serious people are about their lawns, but you know what? I can tell I'm getting old because now I'm just like, you know what? I really want my lawn to look good early on. So got the watering, get some good raking in. So yeah, I'll admit it's kind of annoying, but it's what it is. Now, keep in mind, I have the fake lawn, but I do also sweep that. And it looks unbelievable. I'll tell you that right now. That is the best investment you can ever do because there's no stress. Really, I've got to work on it for one time every 6 months. I sweep it before the season and then again before winter. That's it. Low maintenance. I can tell you that. Low maintenance. Kind of like our next guest at times. As we get to Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical, 4 divisions, project service, testing, and residential solar. Their testing includes infrared and ultrasonic testing, arc flash studies, and energized or de-energized testing. Check it out, actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. I mean, you need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, how you doing, man?
Tip top. What's going on with you guys today?
Oh, lots happening. Oiler fans are fairly excited. Big win in the playoffs. To me, it's you can critique the game, but you never get mad about a loss. Like the Oilers didn't play that. They didn't play a perfect game. It's hard to play a perfect game in the playoffs, but I think they love their start. They love their finish. They probably didn't like their middle by any stretch. But I want to get your thoughts first of all, Struddy, on the Ducks and what you saw in how they defended McDavid. And it was really, 3 lines, their first, second, and fourth line, Tim Washy's line, playing the most minutes against McDavid.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that he was looking for that matchup.
Yes.
Quenneville was putting him out there. It wasn't like, we got caught on the fly. This was a decision, a conscious decision he made. So, man, that shows a lot of confidence in that group. That's quite a thing. But, how long is that going to last? Are you going to, eventually, don't you think Connor's going to find a way to beat a fourth liner? No disrespect to those guys, but he's the best player in the world. So I think a couple things. One, I thought at times the Ducks were sending multiple people at him, and they were trying to get their stick on the puck as much as possible and forcing him to move the puck. I thought as the game went on, Connor tried to force it a little bit too much.
Yep.
And at times that led to him bobbling the puck a bit, which is not normal. Like when you see Connor bobble the puck, it is like me seeing it, seeing me stick handle it normally. Like it doesn't happen, right? So I think that Connor's going to look at this game and say, okay, what did they do? How did they check me? What can I do to make it easier? I think part of the thing is you're going to have to try to use his line mates a little bit more to kind of offload the puck and then get it back in space and with speed. We saw the one time where Savoy got it and bumped it out of his between his legs to the middle, and McDavid had a little speed. He kind of needs a bit more of that. But they had a plan, and McDavid will have a counter plan. That's what the great thing is about 7-game series.
Yeah, it's all about adjustments. So the Oilers, like Jake Wallman, Struds, hadn't had a great season, excuse me. But it was almost like he just said, okay, I'm back to playoff Jake Wallman last night. He was fantastic.
He sure was, and he's had his challenges. I don't know what his offseason could look like because of some injuries. And then, to me, it looked like he was gassed sometimes. And I'm not suggesting he's lazy in the offseason, but if you can't train normally, it takes a while to get it going. You don't have, you think about in the summer, you're training 4, 5, 6 days a week, and if you're doing it less than that, it's hard to make up for it in the regular season. So it looks like he has his wheels underneath him. But what I really liked about him last night, he was decisive with his physical play. Like I thought he was really on it, and he's decisive with the decisions with the puck. And case in point, that first pass to Dickinson. Like I think he passed it harder than anyone else on the Oilers defensive court. And he was doing it last year in the playoffs. I saw that again last night. So man, if they can get him playing at the level he's capable of,
that sure helps, because that's a pretty big mismatch when you have a guy like that that can shoot bombs, make plays, and be physical on your third pairing.
Yes, no doubt about it. The Ducks, they got some guys that impressed me. Who stood out most for you on that young team?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of eyeballing a few people, specifically Jackson Lacombe. You know, I've really grown to like this player. I remember I saw him a couple years ago when he first came up, so that's a guy I really wanted to kind of keep an eye on. So really liked watching him, and he was pretty good. You know, I'm not sure he was amazing. He was pretty good. Another guy I was watching for was Ratko Gudas. I want to see what his impact would be. And, you know, to me, he looked pretty uncomfortable out there. Didn't get a lot of ice time. It was exposed on the one goal where he fell down, and that sure sucks. And that's, you know, it's embarrassing for a guy. And I'm not saying it's just, you know, you take pride in being a guy that doesn't fall down. So I wonder if he still doesn't have a little bit of an injury there. And then Troy Terry. You know, Troy Terry's taking a lot of heat this year for not being a physical player. And I would be really questioning my own contributions to my team if I didn't hit anybody at all year. But the guy can shoot. And so, you know, there's some dangerous players on that team. Just like the Oilers, they didn't all wake up. I think there's that guy, you know, he's a guy that definitely found a way to get in there and score a couple goals yesterday.
Jason Strudwick joins us. Struddy, the Kapanen, Podkolzin, and Draisaitl line. Why do they have the success they do in the playoffs?
I think it's clear what Kapanen, Podkolzin can do, and that what 29 wants them to do. He wants them to get in on the forecheck and use their speed and physical play, and then Leon can get the puck and can find them when they're streaking through here and there, because they can both score. I don't think either one's a 30 or 40 goal scorer, but they're both. I think they can be 15 or 20 goal scorers for sure. You know, if they're able to stay healthy and play with Leon, and that's what he likes. He knows exactly what they are, and sometimes to get chemistry, everyone has to know what their role is on a line, and those two clearly understand what their role is. There's no guessing, and they bring it every night. They bring it. And they were two of the better players on the ice, his winger. So of course, Leon would be happy with that.
Now, we mentioned McDavid's line and McDavid himself, but I think his whole line kind of struggled a little bit. I thought they were forcing pucks more than normal. I did think in the third period, Matt Savoy kind of got over maybe the rookie jitters a little bit and was in on the forecheck and created some turnovers with his speed, which he's done all year long. And I fully expect him to be better. But how Anaheim defended McDavid, and they really at times would overswarm to one side. If you're the Oilers, how do you think they're going to counter that in game 2?
Well, let's start with Matty Savoy. I mean, he's had an amazing year of development, right? Actually, let me rephrase that. He's had 2 amazing years of development. First with going down to HL last year and doing his thing, and then this year coming up and evolving into now a first-line player. So you're not just going to wheel into the playoffs and start just hammering it, you know, the way that you have been in the regular season. So it takes a little time. The playoffs are faster and everyone checks harder, right? So he's going to recalibrate and he's going to figure that out. But I do think that when they defended McDavid like they did, it does make problems for his line mates because they're trying to figure out how do they help this guy out? How can I help him either get the puck and or give me the puck to let him find some space? So I thought the line was out of sorts because of that. And usually the center drives the whole identity of the line, although not, I guess, with Kirby Doc and Fred Fredericks. So that maybe is a lie. But, you know, so I think that those three will sit down and look about how can we support you, McDavid, and help you, you know, get the puck and give it to us so we can have a bit more space and find some open ice. Because it was really hard for Connor to find it. And then it makes it hard for his line mates.
Jason Strudwick, join us. So Adam Henrique comes out, Struddy, and hey, it's fourth line center. Now Szymanski, it's going to be him or Lazar. Who would you put in and why?
Well, last night I would have said Szymanski for sure. And then this morning I was listening to Chris Knobloch, and he spoke about how strong Henrique is on his offside.
Yes.
At face-offs and how he rips it off there. I'm like, well, that's interesting because, you know, I don't know that Szymanski, that's, you know, he doesn't have the experience that Henrique does. So does it make sense to put Lazar in? And honestly, whether it's Lazar or Szymanski between those two towers, it doesn't really matter. Those guys aren't changing their rhythm. Oh, geez, it's a righty or it's a lefty or whatever. So I had it like 90-10 that it was going to be Szymanski. Now I've got it like 60-40. that it might be Szymanski over Lazar. What would you do, and what do you think?
Well, we saw it on the power play goal. Not having, like, Henrique's good on that right side. And most teams, Anaheim, every power play, because they got lefties at the center ice, they want to start on their left side, which is the right side for the defending. So if you're a lefty, that's your weak side. And all the orders, now, could Draisaitl do it? Yes, but they don't want to use him on a penalty kill, nor do I. So that leaves Dickinson, Nugent, Hopkins as your options. Now, you could, here's my one, there's two things to do here. You could put Matt Savoy there if you wanted, right? Just off the face-off, right? Have him out there with the lefty and just say, hey, Matt can try the face. He's pretty good as a right face-off guy. So that would be an option. Lazar is clearly your best right shot option if you want to put him out there for the penalty kill. But he's not the quickest guy. So, you're going to have to weigh things. I know people say, well, Gregor, it's just a face-off. You should be able to defend if you lose the face-off. Yes, but lots of teams have set plays off a face-off, and you're down a man. You can't defend the set play all the time because they have more guys. You would know it, Struddy, as a defender, right? Like, you can be there. I can be in the right position, but because they've got one extra guy on certain set plays, the reason it's a set play is because they know you can't cover it.
Yeah. And so, this is what I want. When I was killing a penalty, I just didn't want my guy to lose it clean. Just give me a chance to get in there and fight. And I used to call it get him on the run. So that means that, maybe my center and I, the center and the other center, they tie it up. And then we get in there, we just turn it into a mosh pit. Then maybe I move that mosh pit into the corner. Now we're all just fighting. It kills 10 seconds, 12 seconds, whatever it is. But it doesn't let them get their set. Because it was so frustrating when not frustrating, but just hard when you're looking over and there's like Joe Sakic, Forsberg, Ray Bourque, and your center loses it clean. You're like, okay, we have 5 Hall of Famers here touching the puck, and now we're in trouble, right? I just wanted to keep the puck close and keep it on me or around me, so I knew I could kind of keep it on the run a little bit. So not losing it clean is huge, and that's a conversation that maybe you have to have as a center. Like, hey man, I'm getting killed by this guy today. I'm tying this guy up. You guys come flying in here, and we're going to turn this into a bit of a battle zone around this dot.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that it is something to consider. I could see them going with Szymanski, but I disagreed with people who thought Szymanski was ahead of Henrique. There's no chance for a variety of reasons, experience, everything else. And I like Szymanski, but playoffs, I felt losing battles was one area of his game that I was like, okay, rookie guy, got a little bit stronger, and he just doesn't provide much offensive punch at all. Like, I was looking it up, Struddy. There's 699 forwards who have played 24 games or more in the NHL this year. He's tied for the fewest shots in the NHL. And so he doesn't generate, and that's fine. He's very good at being defensively aware, which this team needed. So it's not a criticism of him, but I could see how the coach looks and was like, okay, I'm going with Henrique. And if he's worried about that right shot face-off, then Lazar is the option. But in the meantime, if you do dress Szymanski, why can't you have your number one penalty killer in the regular season in minutes in Matt Savoy? Why can't he at least try a face-off on that side?
Yeah, you could send him out there. And I don't know how many draws Matt's taken this year, and then, has he been, was he out there practicing today, or could they practice tomorrow morning and work on those things? Like, just at least to get him some reps in there, because usually a center taken against you in the PK, he's not messing around. Like, this is a guy that can snap it back for the reasons we just kind of highlighted. My gut tells me it's going to be Szymanski, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Lazar. And, Szymanski, you're right. He doesn't create a lot offensively, but I think that's part of what the charm that, he seems to be liked by Knoblauch, because he trusts him. He trusts him not to get, dusted up on a misread or a misplay. And I think that he can evolve and add that offense to his game. Like this offseason, we're a little ahead of ourselves. I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but this offseason, I really, say, hey man, go work with Leon or whoever's practicing, work with this guy to add offense to your game. I'd ask the coach, send me clips of
course,
times where I could have jumped up and I didn't jump up, right? Like, he has to add that. So, but starting defensively and getting the trust of your coach, that's a pretty hard thing. And you look at the Oilers, like Savoy has clearly done that. Clearly he's done that this year as a rookie. And Szymanski, in this short window, he's earned the trust of the coach as well. So that goes a long way to getting you minutes and more importantly, I guess, Greg's a spot on the team.
Yeah, I'm looking up Savoy's numbers. They're not great in the defensive zone, so that might not be a good option now that I've looked through it. So offensive zone, he's okay. Defensive zone, not very good. So probably not an option for them. So, you probably can live with it if you have to, because the Ducks, and the thing is, the Ducks aren't even that good of a faceoff team. That's what, if the Henrique injury is long-term, then they might have to look at Lazar. And I know that maybe they're worried about foot speed, but not everybody has to be a burner. Lazar's a smart player. You know what? Maybe you pick and choose some things. But if Curtis Lazar can't win, let's say, a dump and chase foot race as much, you're like, okay, limits us. But if he can win a key faceoff on shorthanded, allows us to slice the puck and limit the opportunities, there's certain things that just have more value. Right, even though they're less chance, but a goal against, like last night, Struddy, if Gudas doesn't fall, maybe the Oilers don't tie the game. Yeah. Right, that's just a fact.
Absolutely.
So that third goal was massive for Anaheim, and you don't you're going to lose faceoffs, but I like what you said. Don't lose it cleanly. That's the difference.
It's a killer. Losing it clean on the penalty kill is really, really hard. And I'd be interested to know the stats on a PK. What if you lose it. The odds of a goal has got to go up. But the other thing you do, though, Greg, you could use, Dickinson or Leon even just to win the face-off and then get him the change. Or Lazar, same thing. Like, hey, man, just win the face-off and then we're going to put whomever out there to get it going. And I've seen that before. The problem is it does put wear and tear on Leon. You hate to kind of waste those reps on him. That's why I think it's maybe Dickinson. You send him out there, and I don't know what his odds are on his weak side, but you got to find. You don't have your number one option, so they got to figure out what their second and third options are.
Struddy, have yourself a great day and enjoy game 2 and enjoy Tampa Bay. We'll see. The numbers for Andrei Vasilevsky at home for Tampa Bay the last 4 years are wildly bad. So we'll see if he can play better, or will the Habs go up 2-0? Should be a fun one to watch.
Great games tonight. Talk to you later, buddy.
There you go. That is Jason Strudwick. Quick break. We'll come back. 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking@silenticecenter.com.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
This May, look for your census letter in the mail. The information you provide helps plan services in your community that support employment, transit, education, healthcare, and more. It's easy to fill out and completely confidential. Find out more at census.gc.ca. Your census, your community, our future. A message from the Government of Canada.
From the first face-off, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk with live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows. We bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7 only on Sports 1440, Edmonton Sports Station.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth W football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
$4.54. How are you? Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Playoff time, baby. NBA. How about Gilgeous-Alexander was named the clutch player of the year in the NBA. Is that foreshadowing for his MVP? We'll see. We shall see. Wemby was the unanimous winner for the defensive player of the year. No surprise, like that guy is. Well, just his height and everything, his athleticism changes completely how you defend and how you attack. Like, guys are so scared at certain times. You got to lay the ball off the glass almost at the top of the backboard. Otherwise, it's a block. It's crazy. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs. Want to spring into savings? Now's the time to do it at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Looking back at last night's game, Oilers win. What was your biggest takeaway from a positive perspective as well as a negative?
Positive, I would say unexpected production. When you get 4 goals from Kapanen and Dickinson, that's huge for the Edmonton Oilers. The negative would be just their giveaways in the second period.
Yeah, positive for me was, I guess, kind of just getting players back into the lineup and what they were able to do. Dickinson, Draisaitl, I thought all looked very good. Obviously, Dickinson, with the 2 goals was outstanding. And, having Wallman back there, picking up the 2 helpers was great. A downside, we talked about a lot on Fantasy Frenzy with Brandon Douglas, who, of course, is a Ducks fan. Pesky Ducks. They find their way back into games. And, it's something they're good at. But I think the Edmonton Oilers, you're up 2-0. You got to find a way to hold them off some way, somehow. So that would be the one. And then I didn't like Darnell Nurse's penalty either. I thought that, after the one cross check, maybe you just lay up. Question number 2 for you. 4 games in the NHL tonight. Of course, all game 2. So one team is leading, one team is down 1-0. After tonight, how many series will be evened up?
I'm going to say So Minnesota's even. That's the only one right now. And I will say there'll be two others. I think Utah's going to win tonight and Tampa Bay.
I agree with you. I mean, I think Lightning are going to have a much stronger performance tonight. Not giving the Kings much of a chance. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Really tough for Buffalo once they get rolling to give up that momentum. And I do like the chances for Utah. So, yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you totally. Question number 2 here. Down 2-0. Are the Toronto Raptors done?
Oh, God. Like, by the way, can someone text Ingram? Does he know the playoffs are on? Like, oh, my God, what a no-show. So, yeah, it's not looking great. But I'm not going to say it's over yet. I do believe in that the series doesn't begin until the home team loses. So I will say the Raptors, I don't love their chances because home or away, if Ingram doesn't wake up and the other guys don't play better, they don't have a chance. So I'm going to say they got like a 35% chance.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're done. I know what we always say, not till you lose at home, but I don't think it matters here. I'm counting the Toronto Raptors out. I just haven't liked what I've seen. So hopefully they'll prove me wrong, but I think they are done. Question number 4. We discussed the NFL draft today earlier on in the show. Give me a prospect or 2, maybe 3 that intrigues you going into Thursday night.
Go ahead.
I really like kind of the debate for the number 2 overall pick with David Bailey and Arvell Reese. I think that's something that's intriguing. You know, maybe one guy has more upside long term, another guy maybe more pro ready. And just sticking with kind of the higher end pick, Jeremiah Love. He's, when it comes to talent, he's right up there. But he is playing that running back position that has become a little devalued the last little while here. So I think those would be the names I'm watching out for.
Okay. Well, I'm always intrigued by the quarterback, but in this case, I'm more intrigued by, are they actually going to play Kirk Cousins? Because then, you know what, Cons? I think it'd be a very smart draft pick for them. But if all of a sudden they're going to rush him in, I'm just like, I don't love it. But I'm going to go with the tight end position because the tight end, Cons, has become much more valuable. We've seen some guys come in that can make a big impact. So Kenyon Sadiq would be my guy right away. And I don't know if he'll drop that far because I think they're picking, are they 18th or 19th? I can't remember off the top of my head. But the Carolina Panthers could really use a tight end. So, and I'm going to say it now. That's my call of who trades up in the draft. Panthers to get him.
Go get your guy.
Yes.
I'll also throw in Monroe Freeling, who doesn't start a ton of games at the collegiate level. Jamad McCoy out of Tennessee, who missed last year with an injury as guys. And then Jordan Tyson, who we talked about earlier on in the show, just battling injuries. When he's out there, he's stud. But the injuries have to be a concern. Final question for you. The Riverhawks released their theme night schedule for the upcoming season. Of these themes, is there one that stands out, one you might want to get down to? And of the ones they didn't use, other themes they potentially could have stolen, what would be your favorite?
Oh, God. Which are the ones that I'd want to go to? Well, I probably would go to the just to people I think who have a really hard job, a very important job. So in June, they're doing the First Responders and Healthcare Hero Night. So that one, I think, is a shout out to all of them. That's one for sure. And I guess if I had to do another one, I'd want to go to the Baseball and Body Slams Night. So the wrestlers are going to be slamming on tables. That's always comedy. So I would go with that one.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a good one for sure. I'm looking here. Paws in the Park, May 31st. Dogs at the Field. That's always going to be a good time. And then I think just any Tuesday for $2 hot dogs.
Oh, well, yeah.
What can I say? That's one way to get me in. I wish they would have brought back the short kings and tall queens. All men under 5'7" and women over 5'10" get half price admission.
Oh, that's a classic. Did it go over well?
I'm not sure exactly.
I can't remember that, but that's something different. Yeah.
I unfortunately would not qualify. Barely an inch and a half or so, preventing me from that half price admission. But
there you go.
It would have been a good little promo.
That is a funny promo. I would. Anytime they bring disco night back, I just think it's awesome. So lots of people like to dress up in disco attire. Just something. Well, I get it. It's cool. Like it's hard to to top kind of going retro, like any time of theme party that you go to where it's a disco theme, you can find lots of good outfits, man. Some sick clothes from that era.
And the music was kind of good.
Kind of good. It was unbelievably
I
good.
feel like knock it, but it's all toe toppers.
Dude, it'll get you on the dance floor. No question. Like there's some I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor, Freak, Staying Alive. You kidding me? There's so many good songs. Disco Inferno, Funky Town, the original one, I should say. It's going off the top of my head, buddy. I love disco. So let's get into it. I like it. Coming up, Mark Spector will join us. The Oilers did not skate today. Neither did the Ducks. Both teams, Oilers are going to have a full practice. They've kind of gone away from that lately, but they're going to have a full skate, not an optional on the game. It's kind of what it's going to be like, I would think, in the playoffs now. In between, you don't, you get your rest. Some guys might take a twirl, but for the most part, not a lot of it, unless there's an extra day off between games. So Oilers did not have a skate today. And no official return for a timeline yet on Adam Henrique, but I don't know. Knobloch caught himself last night, so I'm kind of guessing that might not see Henrique for a while, which is unfortunate. Let's get to the Con Man of Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC, where if you are looking for a vehicle, now's the time. Stop in the brand new Autoplex, a great place to shop. Look for new vehicles, and with it's getting warm outside, maybe a little sports car that tickles your fancy. Check out all the vets they got right now. NorthgateGM.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoffs rolling on tonight, getting going shortly. Lightning and Canadiens, followed by the Bruins, Sabres, Golden Knights, Mammoth, and the Kings in Denver. In the association, you got the Sixers taking on the Celtics. Spurs host the Blazers, with the Rockets in LA for a matchup with the Lakers. Major League Baseball, Jays still in Anaheim, taking on the Angels first pitch, 7:40. We'll have that one for you here on our AM feed only. Around the league, you got the Pirates and Rangers, Cubbies, Phillies, Orioles, Royals. Early on, Yankees and Red Sox scoreless, while the Nationals lead the Braves 1-0. Marlins and Cards tied at 1 apiece. Cards lead the Astros 2-0, heading into the fourth. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to Mark Spector. We'll also hear from Derek Van Diest of NHL.com and Canadian Cycling Hall of Famer Alex Stieda. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meat, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why, guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made-in-Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Kitchener Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, hackers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
Kitchener Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are this Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large section of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Flying through a Tuesday afternoon. How are you? Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. You can get in. Of course, Jason Gregor Show specials are always there. Some Kings, Colorado ones left over for you if you think the Avs are going to do some damage tonight. Check it out, PlayAlberta.ca. Also, Lotto Max tonight up for grabs. Ooh, just a cool $40 million. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. Where all the revenue stays right here in the province. Time now for the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Are you an experienced top man, pipe layer, operator? Well, guess what? They're hiring. gsconstruction.ca/careers to work for a fantastic company that loves promoting from within. As we welcome to the show Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Never been better, man. Never been better. Going out for a couple beers with a little bit of traveling media guys tonight.
Oh,
show around our fair city, watch a little bit of hockey.
Oh, good. Should be fun. Should be fun.
I like to be the Chamber of Commerce, the visiting, kind of guy that shows you all the bright sides of Edmonton. What crappy bar should I take him to?
I got a few options. I'll send you a text. We'll see. Depends what type of night you want, Spec. If it's a calm night, or is it have one that sneaks up on you?
Yeah. You never know.
The Oilers they didn't kind of sneak up on Anaheim. They had a great first period. They get 2 goals from Dickinson and Kapanen. The second period, however, the Oilers did not like, but then they bounced back in that game. It was interesting. Like, Adam Henrique got hurt late in the first period, Spec, and I don't know. if it had to do with, because suddenly now you're down a 4 and you're switching combinations, if that had something to do with it, probably not. But I know they missed him on the power play, the penalty kill, because that goal by the Ducks was a direct result of losing the faceoff cleanly 5 seconds later in the back of your net. And hey, Henrik, hasn't had a dominant year by any stretch, but the areas he's good at was noticeable in that game. And so Szymanski or Lazar, who do you think it's going to be?
I think it'll be Szymanski, but you can make a pretty good case for Lazar. For sure. I think the what was missing in that game for me was, and I think for the Oilers, their plan was to come out and really limit Anaheim's chances, to frustrate the young offensive Ducks team, to give them nothing, to have them get frustrated with the lack of offensive chances. Well, none of that happened. Leo Carlsson had 9 shots on net, So I'd say to you that the Oilers want to play a way stingier defensive game. And that lends me to believe that Lazar is closer to the solution to that. But I really like Szymanski. He's a young player, and given a few playoff games, he may cement himself in that lineup. So I'm going to say it's Szymanski. That's going to be my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's probably Szymanski. I think he'll come in and he's not going to be the answer for the faceoff, especially on his weak side. So they're probably just going to have to, I like what Struddy said, just don't lose it cleanly, right? You're going to lose some faceoffs. That's fine. Try not to lose it cleanly. And that's going to be the challenge. It's probably going to be Dickinson, I would think, who's going to take most of those draws. So it'll kind of be falling on him a little bit, maybe Nugent Hopkins. We'll see. Connor Ingram, who, is always very calm. His quote, "The bulk of my career, I played out of the Mullet Arena. So to walk out that tunnel, it's a different animal. It's loud in there. It was fun. I had to center myself with a few deep breaths." Connor Ingram, didn't steal the game, but he made 2 huge saves in the third period.
Yeah, I think people in Edmonton should be proud of what they got there, like the people who go to the games and make all that noise. And I get it, everybody. I know how much money people spend to go. I know that there's been 8 rounds the last 2 years. And for people to show up yesterday and that atmosphere in Edmonton is still excellent. Nobody sings that anthem the way Edmontonians do. That's become the signature moment, and guys talk about it. Like everybody that we talked to today, really paid a bit of a homage to what it was like to be in a playoff atmosphere and to walk out of that tunnel and to hear the Dostal, the netminder for Anaheim said, "Man, I listened to that anthem." He says, "I just had to look around and take it all in." And, they've created something here. It's an experience, even for grizzled NHL veterans, man. They come in this building and it's something. And that's pretty cool. I think we got something really neat here at Edmonton. So I forget what your question was even, but I thought the atmosphere was enough that when a guy like Alex Killorn's talking about it, he's played some pretty big playoff games in a lot of important, loud buildings. You must have something good there.
Oh, no, it is loud. It's right up there. Edmonton, Montreal. I think Vegas is still pretty loud, but those Buffalo right now, of course, after being out forever, they obviously have a pretty bit of excitement going on. Even Tampa Bay gets pretty loud too. So there's lots of places that are loud. Carolina actually is pretty loud. I was talking to some players who are like, "Yeah, it's a pretty tough place to play." So, Edmonton fans get into it. I like Ingram said, "Hey man, I had to center myself." But my question was back more of a comment, just that, he didn't steal in the game, but he made 2 huge saves in the third period, which, as Dickinson said, he goes, "You need your goalie to make some key saves, timely saves." And that's what he did in the third period.
Well, what have we been asking for in Edmonton these last few years? It's not necessarily how many your goalie lets in. It's more about, is your goalie better than the other goalie? It's when he lets them in. If we find ourselves in a 2-1 game, can our goalie keep it at 1, or does he get it? Do the other team get to 2? And last night's a great example. I think it's going to be a 4-3 series throughout. There's not going to be a lot of low-scoring games with this much talent, but in the end, Edmonton had the guy that held the other team to 3. Edmonton had the guy that made the huge save down the stretch, and the guy in Anaheim's net. I'm not telling you he was bad, but that Kapanen shot goes in, doesn't get stopped, and there's one winner and one loser. So, you can't You can't be the guy that complained about Skinner for all those years and always saying, oh, I wish I had that one back, and oh, I'd like that one again, and not look at Ingram's game last night and say he didn't give you everything you asked for, right? Everything you need out of a goalie to win a playoff game, Ingram gave you last night.
Very true. Connor McDavid, a rare quieter game for him and his line, and great news for the Oilers. They win the game. They score 4 goals while doing so. I credit the Ducks. I can't just say it's McDavid being off. You got to give the Ducks credit. I thought they disrupted them. They got in lanes. It's one game. I'm not concerned about it, but I'm very intrigued to see how they counter it. And if Joe Quenneville's still going to roll the dice there. And hey, good on Tim Washy, but I'm telling you, you're going to play Tim Washy close to 7 minutes tonight against Connor McDavid. I just think that's a matchup that too often is going to go in Edmonton's favor.
Well, what I want to know is this. Like, we've all seen Connor McDavid go a game without getting a point, but it doesn't last, right? Especially in the playoffs. So, the one wild card here is they got Jay Woodcroft on their side. Jay Woodcroft is pretty well educated on all the things that Connor McDavid likes to do to gain advantages. He's been in the video room with Connor McDavid for a couple of years. He's talked playoff for more than a couple. He's talked power plays with Connor McDavid. They've devised power plays around Connor McDavid. So I guess what I want to know is this, Jay, and I'll ask you what you think. Is this just the typical one-off where McDavid has a night with no points and maybe has a little bit of a frustrating evening? Or does Anaheim know something that most other teams don't? And maybe there's more to this than just an off night for 97.
Yeah, I don't know. People have been saying for a long time, Connor McDavid at the start of this year, oh, you know what? Guys have figured him out. He's reached his peak. I'm just like,
I know.
So I am not remotely even thinking that Anaheim has solved the Rubik's Cube as Connor McDavid. It was one game. I thought the Oilers, with his line, I thought McDavid tried to force things on the power play too often. I thought at 5-on-5, they were rushing passes. I thought there was a lot of passes in the skates that slowed things down. So I'll be shocked. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but I'd be shocked if McDavid has as quiet of a game 2 as he did a game 1.
Okay. Look, I just thought there were certain situations, like, for instance, the zone entry on the power play.
Yeah.
McDavid's just, part of the reason why Edmonton's power play has been the best league for 5 years is that they don't fool around with zone entries. They just take one and get started. And that's because of McDavid. No one in the league has a cleaner, more consistent zone entry on the power play than Edmonton. And last night it wasn't clean and it wasn't consistent, and it was McDavid that they were checking at the line. They had something going on there. They piled up a couple of guys at the blue line, and Connor McDavid had a hard time getting through. So I guess all I'll say to you is, and I'm on your side on this. This isn't me saying, oh boy, they got Connor McDavid figured out. I'm not saying that, folks. But I am saying this is the first time he's gone into a playoff series against his old coach. And maybe don't disrespect that too much. There's some knowledge there that other coaches never had.
Yeah, potentially. Same coach slow Draisaitl down, so that's why I'm kind of like, we'll see. Draisaitl, first game back. Draisaitl now owns the NHL's best points per game in game 1 of a series in NHL history, even higher than Wayne Gretzky. He's at 1.94 points per game in game 1 of a series for Leon Draisaitl, coming off a guy who'd been out for 5 weeks. He looked pretty good. Now, he admitted afterwards, because even on the power play spec, they missed his own entry. He misfired twice in the power play. His own words, he goes, hey, if I'm not out that long, I'm probably hitting that one a lot cleaner. So, for Draisaitl to say, you know what? Yeah, it was a good start for me, but I'm not where my game is at. That's another thing that bodes well for the Oilers.
Yeah, no. As good as he was, and he was great, like he's still, that, speaking of zone entries, that zone entry he forced on the final winning goal where he squeezed by 2 guys and took it behind the net and made a play to Podkolzin. That was just unbelievably, good play. But he threw a lot of kind of hopeful passes. His passing game was okay. He turned over some pucks. Him fanning in his office like that, you never see that. So I agree with him. I would tell you that he was probably at about 70% last night, of the Leon Draisaitl that we know and that we know he'll get to. So listen, this is why it was such a tough one for Anaheim to lose. They shut down the best power play in the league. No goals, not that many chances. They shut down the best player in the world, no points. They shut down their opponent's first line, no points. Their best defenseman, Evan Bouchard, wasn't a good night for him, wasn't great. Leon Draisaitl, I'm telling you, his game's just going to get better and better and better. That's a game when you're Anaheim, man. Like, you got to win that game, because the Oilers, I'd put the jug of beer on the table and tell you that's probably the worst Edmonton's going to play this series, and you didn't win.
Yeah, I agree. I think Anaheim was probably kicking themselves a little bit. Yeah. And hey, Gudas blowing the wheel really was a massive impact on that game, because that allowed Ekholm to get in a lot closer and bomb a shot, harder to control the rebound. Boom, they score. And then obviously Draisaitl makes a great play and a nice pass by Podkolzin to set it up. So we'll find out tomorrow. We'll see Szymanski and Lazar. It's going to be a full skate at an optional. They haven't had that in a month. And away we go. Oilers and Ducks game 2 tomorrow. And then, of course, we got Montreal, Tampa Bay just getting going right now. And the Habs are all over them early on. Vasilevsky. Vasil, I don't know if you saw his comments, but he's just like, what a joke it's kind of being. He's talking about his play at home in Tampa Bay for the last few years. So I'd expect a good performance from Mr. Vasilevsky tonight.
You know what? Like, I know people like to complain about the first round and matchups and 2 versus 3 in the Central. And I'll tell you what, I'm hearing a lot of noise out of places like Buffalo and Toronto about how the playoffs are supposed to be run. Right? From a town in Buffalo that hasn't been in the playoffs in 14 years, and a town in Toronto that when they get there, they don't know what the hell to do. And they're instructing the rest of the hockey world on how the playoffs should be formatted. Give me a break. You know what? These playoffs are awesome. Every year we watch the first round. Every year they're like, let's compare them to the NBA, where a blind squirrel could pick 7 out of 8 series every single year. Like, it's a joke in the NBA. NHL's got it down in the first round. Don't tell me any different. And if you're coming at me out of Detroit or Buffalo or Toronto and you're going to start to instruct me on playoffs, I'll take a pass, pal.
I agree with you. Spec, have yourself an awesome one, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.
All right, man.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, DVD joins us. We got Tater and also Alex Stieda on The Gregor Show on Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, hon,
I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head. Today, we've got Nissan Kicks coming in strong as a leader in fuel efficiency for gas-only CUVs. Some of the other guys respond with, oh, wallet-breaking detour to the pumps. Hats off to Nissan's fuel-efficient Japanese engineering. Right now, finance a Nissan Kicks for 0% for 36 months. Visit Nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information. Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. From the big mall in the west to the Arena District downtown, Edmonton is beautiful. But when I see your lawns, I know one thing's for certain. Weeds are coming. Be proactive and take advantage of our early bird savings until April 30th.
Green Drop has been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Alan Olson Auctions presents the annual Rimbey Spring Consignment Sale. Online bidding is open right now and closes tomorrow. This massive 5-ring auction includes farm machinery, vehicles, RVs, skid steers, attachments, lawn and garden equipment, livestock equipment, and building materials, tires, tools, and so much more. Plus 3 real estate auctions selling in Rimbey and Parkland County. For more info, call Alan Olson Auctions today at 403-843-2747 or visit alanolsonauction.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:29. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Hanley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. The NHL playoffs. Oh, man. Tampa Bay and Montreal are going at it. Lots of wrestling matches. Each team trying to just not give up an inch anywhere on the ice. The Lightning got the first goal of the game. Brendan Hagel. After the Canadians had the first 5 shots in the game, they were all over them, but Hagel scores, and you know what? This series is getting dirty, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. There's lots of animosity between these two teams. And Oiler fans, if you're looking for some off-game insight tonight, you might want to check out the Mammoth Golden Knights. Their first game was vicious at times. I loved it. So we'll see if that continues on tonight. Now we're going to get to Cam Tate with the 2-minute warning now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. He's never let him slow him down. 45 years in the industry, and he always wanted to be in radio. So now Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
I don't know what he was thinking as he walked behind press row at Rogers Place Monday night. Eyes forward, focused, calm, ready. A smart blue suit, starched white shirt, the consummate professional. In the playoffs, a team needs all kinds. He's proof. I will never know the weight of the pads or the hush of 20,000 fans. but I watch Calvin Pickard. I personally think he should be in the Oilers lineup, but that's another story. The NHL allows a third goalie in the playoffs. For the Oilers, it's Pickard, and they couldn't have a better man. 47 years in this game. I've seen so many backups drift into the shadows. Not him. Teammates call him the anti-pressure. When things get tight, when the room grows tense, he keeps it light. Reminds them it's just a game. No ego, no demands, zero complaints. He's played for more teams than I've had diet sodas, long bus rides, cold rinks, waivers, and uncertainty. Things got hard. Teams looked elsewhere. But Pickard stayed steady, found his place again. Leon Draisaitl once called him one of the best teammates he's ever had. Think about that. One of the best in the world, pointing to the backup goalie as the gold standard. Pickard is the first on the ice, takes the extra shots, shows the young players what matters, that the crest is bigger than any individual name. That's leadership. No fanfare, no parade. He just brings his gear and works. When the lights grew brightest in last year's playoffs, he stepped into the net, gave the Oilers stillness in a game of chaos. Above all, I hope we remember what he teaches. Talent fills arenas, but character? That's what wins championships. When the shadows lengthen, you keep your head down. You stay ready. Whether that be in the press box as the third goalie or planting his skates in the ice, get ready for a defensive zone faceoff. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Hallie, Kruger. Everything okay over there? Got everything you need? Or do you need a hit? This is Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
Now I'm curious. A hit? What's going on there, Deck? Something we need to talk about? There's something in those nasal bandages? Who knows? We'll see. We got a lot of text line in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, don't you think Anaheim has the blueprint on how to beat the Oilers after watching Florida beat them twice in the finals? No. Because they don't have the players. They don't have a veteran team. They don't have a Barkov. They don't have a third line. Like, look at the third line in Anaheim and look at the third line last year in Florida. And keep in mind that Florida had multiple players have career years to win the cup in the playoffs. That's what you need, right? Not just a few, but multiple. And that's just how it is. Like, the playoffs are hard, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and you definitely need health. But you look at Florida, and like Sam Bennett's never scoring 15 goals again in the playoffs. It's not happening, right? Ovechkin and Crosby couldn't do it twice in the playoffs. And it's not a knock on Sam Bennett. It's just not happening again, right? But look at how many guys they had, either point-of-game players or right there, right? They had, 6 guys with 20 points. Brad Marchand was on their third line. He had 10 goals and 20 points, right? Verhaeghe, no. You can't just say, hey, look at how they do it, because not only they countered them at times, but then they had guys to finish off, Lusterine and Lundell, right? Like, they had 8 forwards with 18 points or more in 23 games. Like, if you prorate that, you're talking 8 guys in a regular season that are come up to, over 60 points. Like, it just doesn't happen in a full season. Like, it was an amazing run by Florida. So it's not as easy to just say, hey, let's do what Florida did. Teams would love to do it, but you got to have the skill to do it and the experience to do it. So no, I don't think you can do that at all. So not where I come out on anyway. So Greg's, what about Todd McClellan? He didn't seem to have success slowing down McDavid. Hey, great point, man. I just can't give Jay Woodcroft that much credit for one game for Connor McDavid. Like, I'm not doing it. It's not happening. It's not like he devised some great game plan to say, Todd McClellan wouldn't have had the same game plan, right? McDavid's had a 0-point game before in the playoffs. It's not the first time. In fact, it's the 23rd time in the playoffs. You're going to have games sometimes where you don't score. Even the greatest player, right? Even the greatest player. It happens. So no, I'm not going to get, I can't do it. I can't go down the road of Jay Woodcroft has solved it, because I think if I say that, I look like an idiot, because in game 2, McDavid could easily have 3 points. Since 2021, And that includes when they got swept by the Jets. McDavid has played 80 playoff games. He has 18 games with 0 points, 18 games with 1 point, 25 games with 2 points, and 19 games with 3 or more points. He has more 3 or more point games than he has 0 point games. I am not. I give Anaheim credit. Do I think it's something that McDavid won't figure out based on past history? I do not. Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to a top-end athlete who's got a fantastic event going on. Coming up, guy racing the Tour de France and other places next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made in Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Carius and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
To Sports 1440.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or in the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the VLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.540. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Lots going on in the In the sporting world, of course, NHL playoffs, we have our first goal of Tuesday night. It is Brandon Hagel and the Tampa Bay Lightning are leading 1-0. And lots going on in the sporting world right now with hockey and basketball, and you have baseball. You got the NFL draft going on, playoffs and everywhere else. And also, though, hey, spring has sprung. Many of you are getting the itch to get back on your bike, which is fantastic. And we're going to talk to a gentleman who knows a thing or two about biking, one of the great Canadian cyclists of all time. Of course, competed in the Tour de France, won a stage, and he's actually promoting a big. Now, when I hear the name, I'm like, I'm intrigued. The Festivus of Gravel cycling event, because we all know like nothing better than cycling on gravel. In all seriousness, though, Alex Stieda joins us. Alex, how you doing?
Hey, Greg, it's good to be on. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
I could talk hockey the whole time if you want. Yeah, I'm all in.
No, perfect. But you aren't actually cycling on gravel, though, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, cycling. There's so many different facets of cycling. Road cycling. We got the new velodrome now here in Edmonton, which is unreal to ride on. And there's gravel cycling. I kind of view riding a bike we have special bikes for gravel with wider tires. I kind of view it as the ODR of cycling.
Oh, okay.
Right. When you go skating ODR, you've got your gloves, your skates, stick. That's it. Right. Yeah. When we ride on gravel, it's like everything's kind of, you don't worry about all the stuff. You just go out and ride. And yeah, and there's less cars, and it's harder to ride on gravel because it's soft, right? Yeah, so it's a challenge. Just like you're skating on ODR, man. It's like there's cracks and there's like 50 guys on the ice. It's crazy, yeah.
So it's going in May at Leduc County, the May 23rd and 24th. Now this, of course, is a big fundraiser for the Prostate Cancer Center, and you're a prostate cancer survivor, so this is something that's very near and dear to you. You understand the challenges of it. So tell us a little bit about it. Can people still sign up for it? Is it more for donations? What's happening?
Well, yeah, we really want people to participate. Yeah, you could donate, but it's about getting out there and just putting your leg over a saddle and start pedaling. We've got a 24-kilometer distance for people who aren't that trained. They're just starting out riding their bike in the spring. You can ride on a mountain bike. It's probably the best bike to use because it can roll on the soft gravel. And we start at the Leduc Rec Center, and that 24-kilometer distance just goes out along Saunders Lake, goes to one of our partners, Rig Hand Distillery. Jeff Stewart there is really nice, and we actually go through the distillery and then 12 kilometers back, and you've got a custom labeled Leduc Brewing IPA waiting for you.
Okay. So where can people go if they want to register? How can they sign up?
Well, if you look at the festivusofgravel.ca website, you'll find a link there to take you to the Man Van prostate cancer awareness ride. There, just scroll down a bit, you'll see Man Van. And that's really the place I want, if you're not a serious cyclist, come out and just join us for that 24-kilometer ride. Take your time. We'll have food. We've got a nice pork barbecue at the end. We're working with a lot of local partners, right? Like Jay over at CycleWorks. He says hi, by the way.
Okay, nice.
Yep. Matt and the team at Ericsson Nissan. I see they're a sponsor of yours with Nissan dealers. So they're going to provide all the follow vehicles. I mentioned Jeff at Rig Hand. All the Edmonton bike shops are coming out to man the aid stations. We got Vicious Cycle, Mud, Sweat, and Gears, United Cycle, Crankies, Revolution, Hardcore. They all come out, man an aid station, support all the riders who are doing the 24, the 50, the 90, and the 150 distances.
There's 100. So like the 150, because you're riding on gravel, you can't ride as fast as you would, obviously on a road bike. Yep. So what would be the guesstimate of time to ride the 150 on gravel?
Well, the fast guys, believe it or not, they're riding fast on gravel. They've got special bikes built for speed on gravel. We call it fast gravel. They'll probably ride around 30K an hour. So it'll probably take them about 5 hours to do 150K. They go through the aid stations. They don't even stop. They just grab a bottle, have someone there who's helping them And then other people might take longer, of course, because they're not racing it. So they might go at 20K an hour. So, it might take them 7-8 hours.
Okay. Now, is there a minimum requirement to fundraise to sign up?
There is not. We're making it super easy this year. We want to get different people from all walks of life just to swing their leg over a bike and get out and ride that 24K. A lot of it's on the 24K lap is on the multi-way around Telford Lake. So there's a paved section. Then we go on into a dirt track around Saunders Lake, a little secret trail I'm building out there. So that really makes it fun. It's super casual, no minimum, but do pre-register for sure.
Okay. And what are the what are the start times for it?
Yeah. So we have the longer distances start earlier, so they finish around the same time. So 8 a.m. is when the 150 kilometer distance goes. 9 a.m. is when the 90 kilometer distance goes. 9:15 is when the 24 kilometer distance goes, because they're just going to go out and back, and they come back on the final 12K when the other riders are actually finishing. So a lot of people will be finishing together. And then the 50K starts at 10 a.m. Then we have some kids races from 10:30 to noon while we're waiting for the rest of the guys to finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is there like a barbecue, dinner, anything afterwards?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, Leduc Brewing is brewing up a custom IPA with a custom Festivus of Gravel label for us. And we've got the guys. Oh gosh, we've got a really good barbecue guy, and his name escapes me at the moment. I'm embarrassed about that. But he is bringing a pork barbecue for us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna find that guy's name right now. Actually, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, he's got to be cross-eyed.
How many years have you done the Festivus of Gravel?
Yeah, so this is our 4th year.
Okay.
And we were running it out of Thorsby, which is a little bit further away, smaller town. That helped us get started. But in order to grow and to get more people engaged, we had to go to a bigger town. Leduc was the natural place to go. Yeah, the guys at Cornerstone Barbecue are doing our pig barbecue. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. So again, for anybody listening, this is on May 23rd and now it's the May 23rd weekend, right? When you're going to be
So the 23rd is sign on and do a recon of the route if you'd like.
Okay.
Sunday the 24th is the event day.
Okay. Yeah. So now when you say recon, you can come there on the 23rd, you register, and can you go around the track to know where you're going?
You can. And what people will do is if they're kind of racing it, right, they'll probably go backwards on the course and preview the last 10, 15, 20K to see where it goes and where they might have an advantage if they attacked or something like that. So that's for the serious riders.
So how many serious riders do you expect to be?
Well, we grew 3 years ago at 75. Last year we had 196. This year we're expecting 250 plus riders. And, I'm going to say, the top third of those riders are serious training athletes of all ages. They've been riding on the velodrome all winter. They've been riding on their indoor bike trainers all in their basements. And this is probably the first event of the year that they have to go out and give her. So it's going to be an amazing event. And, fingers crossed with the weather. Today was great. Friday, not so good. But that's the best part about being outside is you learn to experience and ride in all sorts of weather.
Well, I was going to ask you about if it's rain on the gravel, it's already soft. Is the rain worse or better for gravel?
It's actually better. It actually helps pack it down. It's not as loose, and then you don't have the dust.
Yes.
But you do have some spray and mud.
Right.
So there's a bit of a give and take there. But riding on a wet gravel road is actually faster. Yeah, you'll actually roll quite a bit faster. And the guys who know will use the right tires and the right tire pressure to take advantage of that.
So for people that just want to go out there for fun, like, hey man, I want to go out there, but if there's a lot of dust, do you recommend, is there a special mask anywhere so you don't come up with all dust face? Or you just say, no, that's part of it?
Yeah, it's part of it. But you can use a balaclava or like a little just something to cover your face if you'd like, depending how sensitive you are to the dust. But generally it's not that bad. It's only when you're behind a vehicle that the dust is coming up, and for the most part, people are, once they leave we neutralize the first 4 kilometers, and then once they're out on the track, they generally split up and they're riding in 1s and 2s and 3s, and it's not that bad.
Well, Alex, it sounds awesome, man. Best of luck. Hopefully you guys raise a lot of money and you get a few more bikers. Once again, if anybody out there wants to go, it's festivusofgravel.ca, and I'm on the website right now, and it's any question you have. It has answered where to register, what the distances are, where it's going to be, all the sign up. So it'll be awesome. So look forward to it. And quickly, give me your thoughts. What's going to happen in Game 2 of the Oilers?
Yeah. I mean, both teams were fortunate, but in a few different places, a little puck luck here and there, right? But I think I got the feeling that the Oilers have their feet under them now. It was a bit of a the game kind of went back and forth. They were that second period, man, that got me scared, but they came back, and that's given them confidence, and I think that confidence now is going to roll.
Yeah. Awesome. Alex, thanks so much for this, man. We appreciate it.
Right on. Thanks, Greg.
That's Alex Stieda, one of the greatest cyclists we've ever had in the country, no question. And he's a prostate cancer survivor, so I love what he's doing to get people in. And a good challenge. If you're a cyclist, man, the Festivus of Gravel, it's a good one. Lots of different distances for you to try. You just want to kind of have remember, like there's a fun run. Well, there's a fun bike. It's 24K. Then there's the Hammer at 50K, the Thunder, which is 90K, and then the Braveheart, which is 150-ish kilometer race. So you can check it out. That's May 23rd and 24th. Really, the race is on the 24th, 23rd. People can come from out of town. They set up. There's campsites and everything. So you can go to festivusofgravel.ca. And guess what? Tampa and Montreal, there's a little melee, not a brawl. If one person calls it a brawl, again, I'm going to snap. When everybody's wrestling around, it's not a brawl. It's a melee, okay? No fights, no one. But guess what? Tampa Bay takes a penalty, and the Montreal Canadiens power play is crushing them. They score again. Lane Hudson with his first of the playoffs from Suzuki and Caulfield, and they are tied at 1 late in the first period. Stay out of the box. Boston and Buffalo, Conman will update you on the score in that one. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have lots. We'll find out who's officially in. We think it's Szymanski, but we'll find out for sure tomorrow. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I am Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Mortgages to Go. You need cash and you have equity in your home. Mortgages to Go has you covered. The banks say no, they say yes. They've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 888-5998 or go to mortgagestogo.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoffs rolling on, just about wrapping up in the first period. Lightning and Canadiens tied at 1 apiece. Montreal leads that series 1-0. Sabres ruined scoreless early in the first. Later tonight, Golden Knights hosting the Mammoth and the Kings in Denver. In the association, Celtics up on the Sixers 39, or tied at 39 right now. Second quarter, Boston leads that series 1-0. Later night, Spurs, Blazers, and the Rockets meeting the Lakers. In the majors, the Jays taking on the Angels just after 7:30. We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440's AM feed only. Elsewhere, Athletics will take on the Mariners, Diamondbacks, and White Sox, with the Dodgers heading to the Bay to take on the Giants right now. Cards up on the Marlins 4-1. The Brewers lead the Tigers 3-1. Rays at home trail the Reds 4-0, and the Astros up on the Guardians by a score of 3-2. Tonight in the AJ League Final Game 3, Canmore leading the Eagles 2-0. That series puck drop 7:00. In the BCHL, Crusaders hosting Brooks in Game 3 of their series. That one tied at 1 apiece, also starting at 7. PWHL later on tonight, you got Vancouver taking on Montreal. That'll do it for us here on the Gregor Show. Coming up next, Fox Sports Radio. Blue Jays baseball at 7:30 a.m. feed. If you're streaming, you've got Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.